Welcome everybody. It's Tuesday night. I'm MC Toon, your host, and this is Penguin, your co-host tonight. Hi, Penguin. Tonight we've got. I'll let her down. There you go, Pupper. Tonight we've got a debate. Let me get him up on the screen here with Smokin Al. Welcome, Al.
Hello, sir. How are you this evening?
I am great.
Excellent.
All right. Well, Brent in the chat said that you've been training for this for 10 years.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently. So have you actually been...
It's that COVID shot, man. You got to lay off those COVID shots or get some better cigarettes.
I got to... I don't know how that's going to help, but yeah. And you know what? I probably need a can of Tab. So I'll just...
Okay.
Let me...
You need the glass bottle Cokes that don't have high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
At least if you're going to poison yourself, do it right.
I don't like I don't like those kind of pop. Not much for that. All right. So 10 years for real?
Oh yeah, at least. I quit debating people about 5 years ago. I haven't even looked into any new evidence in 5 years because it's just people want to believe what they want to believe.
Yeah, I know. So seriously, I like, which Eric Dubé video was it that got you?
It wasn't really Eric Dubé. I just had a buddy tell me look into flat Earth around maybe it was the year 2013, and I set out to disprove the flat Earth. First, I thought it was ridiculous, so I put it onto Google and put it onto the TV, and I thought I'd be done in about an hour. And
yeah, it was quicker for me. It was about 10 seconds.
Yeah, really. Well, 7 hours later, all I had was Foucault's pendulum, but that's kind of faulty.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, the fact that we can't prove any motion really,
but Foucault's pendulum does.
Right? Well, it doesn't, because it would start itself if it was moving because of the motion of the Earth.
No, that the Earth is rotating at a constant speed, so the pendulum should not, on a rotating Earth, start itself. It's that the pendulum processes. That's what it's actually testing.
Okay, those pendulums map out all kinds of different patterns all over the Earth that don't correlate with the spin of the Earth. That's just a fallacy.
I've never seen one that doesn't match.
And furthermore, they move based on how they're started and how they're hanging.
Again, I've never seen that.
Okay, well, I'll accept that. You should look into it a little bit more.
I did.
Now, do you run Flat Earth Science Debate? Is that your site?
The Facebook group?
Yeah.
I tend to be invited to be a moderator or an admin in a lot of the groups. I don't do much adminning or moderating, but I think the only group that I started, there's maybe two groups. One is or there's a couple more, but I started the Dihydrogen monoxide truth group.
Okay.
I'm a dihydrogen monoxide truther. Do you know about that?
I'm not familiar. No.
Yeah, so dihydrogen monoxide is suspiciously co-present with a lot of bad things. So like all shark attacks are in the presence of dihydrogen monoxide. Same thing for dog bites. And yeah, gaseous dihydrogen monoxide causes your skin to burn, and its solid form, if left in contact with the human body, causes cell death.
That's pretty interesting.
But it's not illegal. They give it to children. They have free access to it at like daycares and stuff like that. So anyway, I have
I
the
mean,
dihydrogen monoxide truther group.
not to get off topic.
Yeah,
You're
that
a
was
big
kind of.
believer. You're a big believer in 5G.
Yeah, 5G is great. It's safer than 4G or 3G.
Did you notice when they turned on the 5G in China when the COVID first came out that they were showing videos of people just dropping dead on the streets?
Do you know what 5G actually is?
I haven't researched it that much, but I know
Maybe
one thing.
maybe you should. Maybe you should.
I know one thing. We have hospitals, children's hospitals full of kids with cancer that we never had in the past, and it's not because they weren't diagnosed
They
properly.
definitely should increase the expansion of 5G because it's safer than.
Interesting. I'm going to look into the 5G more, but do you think smart meters are good, or do those make people sick?
Smart meters are for billing are pretty nice. It reduces. It gets rid of jobs. So I mean that's maybe not good because it used to be somebody'd walk to your house and write down the thing off the meter, but now
Like
that guy is unemployed now. But as far as I suppose you're talking about the RF that it sends out, it's very, very slight. It's exceedingly small, so that's not a problem at all. People that don't understand how radio frequencies work tend to be the ones that think that they should be scared of it. But since I have a little bit of background in that, maybe I know what's going on, and I know that typically they send out a very small and infrequent updates. Their duty cycle is very broad, so they don't get to send much data very, very often anyway. So,
well, I'll tell you what, turn your smart meter off and look at your savings, because they'll charge you about 60, 80, $100 a month to come turn that radio frequency off. But what they're doing is nailing you at a higher rate for the times that you use your power the most. And when you get rid of the smart meter, all that goes away.
an interesting hypothesis.
Oh, it's not a hypothesis.
Yeah, it doesn't actually. It
is
probably does.
positive.
I would say it's a hypothesis. I think it's falsifiable. Popper would agree, right?
Possibly.
Possibly. It's a proper hypothesis. It bears empirical testing though.
Let's move to the flat Earth.
All right.
Does ether exist in our environment?
I have some in my garage. I use it to start the engine on the lawnmower if it has trouble.
Are you familiar with the Michelson-Morley experiment?
Yes, the Michelson-Morley experiment that disconfirmed or falsified the existence of ether.
How did it falsify it?
The luminiferous ether is what it was falsified. Well, it falsified it because the Earth is in orbit around the sun. And if you read the actual paper, we could bring it up right now if you want. But if you read the paper, they talk about the Earth's motion around the sun. And they hypothesized that when so remember, it's an L shape, right? So one arm of it was headed into the motion of the orbit around the sun, and the other was perpendicular to it. So they had hypothesized that the one that was going into it would have a different speed of light than the one that wasn't. And because they didn't measure that, and they were like, "Ooh, that's weird," and they didn't know what to do because ether was the luminiferous ether specifically was the standard science of the day, and they had a reading that falsified it, and all of the scientists are like, well, that can't be, but it turned out it was. Yeah, so that falsified the existence of ether.
According to who did it turn out it was? Because that experiment still stands, sir.
Yes, it certainly does, and they've redone it many times at a significantly higher precision too.
And Airy's failure, what about that?
Yep, a similar finding to the Michelson-Morley experiment. It's a different test of essentially the same thing. So yeah, so it's good to have a repeated experiment where you do one thing and you test something in a certain particular way, and you get a result, and then you repeat it either by doing it the same way or by trying to come at it a different direction. And so Airy's failure is a different way to come about testing for the existence of ether. In a similar way, it falsified the existence of the luminiferous ether.
Okay, but it didn't falsify it. It proves that the luminaries above us move and we are motionless. That's the reason it's called a failure, is because it was set out to prove that Earth was moving, and that's why it's
tell you what,
called a
let's
failure.
since you're making these claims, I can just pull up the paper.
What about Sagnac Gale?
Yeah. Hold on. So I'll pull this up. Let's do one at a time here. So I have right here, Michelson Morley. I need to, and I will share this to you so you can see it. There you go. Yep.
See, anybody can write anything on the internet, but that experiment basically proved ether in the environment.
Well, we'll just jump to the part of the paper that says that, right? So just a second here. All right. So, are you seeing it?
I can see it, but
okay.
I'm kind of far away, just so you can see me. I can't really read it.
Okay, I can zoom in on stuff. I'll get rid of the sidebar here. So, you were saying that that they sought to prove the rotation of the Earth, or something like that, the orbit, right? So what page and paragraph did it say that that was their goal?
Airy's failure wanted to prove rotation of the Earth, and the reason it's called a failure is because it failed and it proved Earth's not moving.
Oh, tell you
and
what,
the luminaries above us are.
I'll pull up that one. It's called On the Supposed Aberration, on the supposed alteration in the amount of astronomical, darn it, that's wrong, aberration of light. So here it is. Where was it that he said that he was trying to prove the motion of the Earth around the sun? So here he talks about the a discussion take place in the continent. The most important part of the paper. I love this guy's name, Professor Clinkerfuse. Did you ever watch Hogan's Heroes? I can't not think about Hogan's Heroes when I hear that.
When I did watch it, I fell asleep as a child.
Oh, all right. Anyway, so Clinkerfuse was talking about this stuff in 1867, but in which part of it was it? Did he say that he was trying to prove the motion of the Earth around the sun?
See, I'm not familiar with that particular article, but it wasn't
that was
motion of the Earth. It was
but you
just
said
to prove all the luminaries above us, or prove that we're moving. And
what should be in here then?
Well, Google why is Airy's failure called a failure? Why did it fail?
Because the hypothesis was falsified. That's why it's called that.
So you're just claiming all these famous experiments that they keep out of the public indoctrination system are
these are actually easy to find, and they're discussed in school regularly. So I don't know why you'd say that.
Right, and they're also telling people in school that we're moving all these crazy speeds, yet we can't measure any of it.
Actually, they're all measured, but we can get into that in a little bit. But let's just find the spot in this paper that you said that they were trying to prove the motion of the Earth around the sun. Which part of this?
That particular paper? Who wrote that paper?
It's right here. Airy.
Airy wrote that paper.
Yeah, George Biddle Airy.
Okay. And that paper is entitled what?
All right, I'll get it right. On the supposed alteration of the amount of astronomical aberration of light produced by the passage of the light through a considerable thickness of refracting medium, by George Biddle Airy, C.B., Astronomer Royal, received November 17, 1871.
Okay.
So this is what is nicknamed Airy's failure. It's a little easier to say than the rather longer wordy version there.
Let me see what I got.
So now it's the part that's interesting is, of course, what Klinkerfues was talking about. And we can jump to the bottom, where we can see the specific. Let's see, there's the other one. So that we get down in this final page here, where the magnetic survey of east of France. That's the next paper in this publication. So.
Can I read you something real quick, sir?
Well, why don't you can send it? We can look at it. Right on screen.
I'm not really set up for that. I'm on vacation. I'm in a pretty remote location right here.
All right.
Let me just read this real quick. The experiment called Airy's failure was a test conducted by astronomer Royal Sir George Biddle Airy in 1871, in which Airy failed to detect the motion of the Earth. The experiment showed that the stars move relative to a fixed Earth. By first filling a telescope with water to slow down the speed of light inside, then calculating the tilt necessary to get the starlight directly down the tube, Airy unintentionally demonstrated that the Earth was fixed horizontally, since the starlight came in at the correct angle without needing to change the tilt of the telescope.
Yeah, and what's the citation for that?
Citation.
Yeah, where did you get that from? Right, all you did was read somebody's assertion. It'd be good to see where you got that assertion
somebody
from.
Just sent that to me. Somebody that's watching just actually sent it to me.
Was it Chris Curtis?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so an uncited from an uncited source, somebody giving their opinion on it, right? All right, well, let's read from the actual paper here. Remarking that the mean result for geographical latitude of the instrument, determined from observations made when the aberration of the star had respectively its largest plus value and its largest negative value, agree within a fraction of a second. I think myself justified in concluding that the hypothesis of Professor Klinkerfues is untenable. So that statement there is saying the hypothesis was falsified. And the hypothesis includes the luminiferous ether. And that's important to remember, because it wasn't, as you suggested, it wasn't in question about whether or not the Earth was rotating. They weren't looking to test to see if the Earth was rotating. That was already known. It was completely outside of any of their consideration of what they were doing. They were looking to see if they could test for the existence of the luminiferous ether and determine its properties. Right? That's what they were doing, if you look at what Professor Klinkerfues was talking about. So there's that one. Then Michelson Morley came along a few years later, and a similar thing. Again, they were not looking to test whether or not the Earth was actually orbiting around the sun. That was well established. None of their talk is, well, let's go test that.
When you say well established, sir, well established by who? Well established by who?
Yeah, but by several different things like parallax of stars and the redshift of light from distant stars.
What parallax of stars? There is no parallax. There is no stellar parallax.
Well, an interesting claim, which I shall now provide evidence to the contrary.
Okay, do you agree in the northern hemisphere, if we put a telescope on the North Star, it's there forever unless that telescope's moved?
And another interesting claim. Let's do one at a time. You can't make one claim and then, while I'm looking for the answer to your first claim, bring up yet another claim. I can't do that fast enough, right?
Sure.
So it's called Brandolini's law, right? Look it up, people. So okay. I'll pull up the parallax, measurements of parallax. All right. So here we have measurement of parallax. This is titled parallaxes of 23 stars determined from plates taken with the McCormick 20-inch refractor. Right there. I'll put that link in the chat for anybody that wants to have a look at it. You can download, you can view the PDF yourself. It's right there. So that's one measurement of parallax of 23 different stars. All right, that's one.
And how can we verify that?
Well,
Since the stars and the constellations haven't changed since recorded history,
as you have asserted, but yet this particular measurement is directly contradictory to your claim. So now let me get this one here. All right, so that's one.
That's just words on paper. I can put
no, it's not.
Mickey Mouse said that.
No. Let me be clear. This is the result of humans using instruments to measure things, and this is the report of that. So you cited Airy's failure, you cited Michelson-Morley. By your claim, are those just words on paper and they are inadmissible? Or since you already admitted them as evidence for something, you must now be consistent and have this thing be an acceptable deal as well. This is a published
Not necessarily.
paper. So
that's like conjecture.
All right, so that's one. Now let me get the second one here. This is parallaxes of 44 stars determined from plates taken with the McCormick 67-inch refractor, a different, much larger telescope. That's another one. Let's pull up this one here. Now these are just telescopes. These aren't, these are things you could potentially do some of these yourself. Here's parallaxes of 31 stars determined from plates taken with the McCormick 26-inch refractor. Again, the same one there. Now that's the three of them from the McCormick refracting telescope. Let's get one from a different. I think this is a different.
Have you ever
telescope.
done any of these experiments yourself?
Hold on a second. This is parallax and orbital motion of the astronomic binary BD plus 6 degree 398. So yet another parallax measurement. All right, so there. You asserted that there is no parallax. I gave 4 measurements of collections of different multiple. So I gave you over 100 different parallax measurements. Now, you have simply made an assertion with no backing evidence, no measurements, no nothing. I gave you measurements, and if you want to dismiss all measurements because you don't like how they're done, well, then still your assertion doesn't stand to my actual measurement.
Yeah, but
right?
You're making an assertion that these experiments that I'm asserting are true were falsified.
Yes, they were falsified. Your assertions. Your assertions
and
actually.
According
you
to
didn't even
paper
reference.
right
you didn't even reference any actual measurements. You just asserted.
Well, Airy's failure is pretty well known. So is Michelson-Morley. So is Sagnac-Gale.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's not Sagnac-Gale. It's Michelson-Gale-Pearson. They tested the Sagnac effect, and they measured the rotation of the Earth. But let's go yet to now. You made the assertion
They
of parallax.
did not measure the rotation of the Earth.
Yeah. Hold on a
because
second.
there is no rotation.
Well, that's your begging the question. But let's do this. You made the assertion of parallax doesn't exist. I gave you a whole bunch of measurements of parallax. I know you won't have an opportunity right now to review them. I'd be glad to send them to you, and then if you find any errors in the methodology or in their mathematics, or you find some contradicting evidence, maybe you could present that at a different time, right?
Most definitely.
I know in the middle, it's unfair in the middle of a debate to expect that you would have an answer to hundreds of different measurements live, right?
Well, we know the North Star remains fixed.
Oh, okay. So that's the second one. Are
you familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah. Could you cite the measurements and the precision of those measurements? You know what precision means in a measurement, right?
Well, we don't look. The bottom line is we know the North Star remains fixed over the North Pole, and it's been that way since recorded history.
Again, that's an assertion. Yeah. Okay.
People
Well.
make assertions that
Okay.
we had
Well. Recorded
different
history.
pole star.
Then your claim of recorded history. You should be able to have the recorded history for me somewhere. Somewhere. I've never found it. I've looked for the recorded history of Polaris never moving, and I've never
It's in
found.
astrology. It's astrology.
Sorry, astrology.
Was,
Astrology is not a science. It's just people saying, "Well, because you're born on this day, you're going to have a good luck when you and because you're some star is in some constellation or whatever, then you should order a cappuccino at the coffee shop down the street so that you can find love." All that astrology crap is useless. So I don't know why you're talking about astrology. Do you mean astronomy?
astronomy and astrology, both.
You don't know what astrology is, do you?
What is it?
Tell astrology is it's what's your sign? Oh, I'm a Leo, and oh well, Leo should only marry Capricorns, and the Capricorns are lucky today, and Tauruses, well, that's not good for them today because this is this, and so, that's astrology. That's complete nonsense and woo.
Maybe.
Okay. Astronomy. Now, astronomy is an actual science. It's one of the earliest sciences. All right. So now I want to give you a chance to back up your claim that recorded history says that Polaris doesn't move.
Well, has it moved since you were alive?
Yes.
I disagree.
But that's not my claim. You've made the claim.
Can you prove that? Can you prove that?
Yes, of course. But it's your claim. I'm going to give you a chance to back up your claim. And while you think about that, I'll pull this out. This is the Debater's Guide. So this is the Debater's Guide. It's just a guide, a little one on how to do Lincoln Douglas debates specifically. But on page, I think it's 22. If I remember correctly here, it does. In fact, page 22, it says the burden of proof. There's this right here, this heading here that says the burden of proof. The burden of proof is a primary rule of any argument or debate. It first requires the affirmative to bear the burden of proving the proposition. Subsequently, it requires every speaker to support every assertion made by that speaker, because any assertion must be supported by proofs or evidence.
Well, but it is. But you're saying my proofs and evidence
just a second.
False.
Those who assert must prove is a fundamental and long-standing rule of every debate. Now, they don't mean prove in the real formal sense when you're talking about science. But all right, so you have made the proposition, the assertion that for all of recorded history, Polaris has never moved. Go ahead and just like it suggests in here, those who assert must prove. So over to you. If you want to send me anything, I'll put it up on screen for everybody to look at.
I'm not really set up to do that right here. I've actually got some iffy Wi-Fi. I'm pretty high up in the mountains right here. I'm surprised this is working so well right now.
How is your data getting out?
I'm sorry?
How is your data getting out? Like what's your Wi-Fi? Do you have like fiber internet or something or what?
I believe they're using, I don't know if this is wired or I'm not really sure. I'm at someone else's place.
Might it be Starlink?
I'm not really sure. I doubt it.
Could be. All right. So do you have any, maybe you could just off the top of your head cite something and I'll Google it for you.
The Georgia Guidestone had a hole in it.
Yes. And how wide was that hole?
That I don't know.
It was a couple inches wide.
Okay. And
so to be clear, you could see
the North Star through.
Yeah, but its width, its angular width was about 2 degrees, I think. Do you know what that means when I say angular width about 2 degrees?
Yeah, but
okay. So
what are you
for
trying
reference,
to say?
when you hold your arm at your hand at arm's length, your pinky is about 1 angular degree. That's about how wide your pinky is. So if you were to look through the eye hole of the Georgia Guidestone, it would be about, and your arm length pinky there would be about twice as wide, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on the details, but and so it had about a 2-degree width to it. So the precision of your measurement here is like plus or minus 1 degree, maybe. Anyway, that's not very precise measurement. Do you have an actual? No, but to be clear, Georgia Guidestones haven't been up for all of human history or all of recorded history. So when you said all of recorded history, you weren't talking about the Georgia Guidestones, were you?
I'm talking about maps.
Maps?
Maps that were made of the stars.
Okay. Like
how have they changed
like
since recorded history?
Yeah, you mean like the maps of the stars that they put in the nautical almanacs, maybe?
Well, I mean, the stars haven't changed for one thing.
Well, that's now, you've just all you did was reassert your assertion. I'm trying to find out what maps you're talking about. So what?
Okay, let me ask you this instead of getting into really fine details. Do you believe the Earth is spinning at the equator approximately 1,000 miles per hour?
Are you running away from your claim because you don't have any supporting evidence?
Well, I don't have anything
10 years. But
we could do
Brett?
this next week, and I can bring you some evidence.
Yeah, but you made the assertion, right? So you must have in your mind, and I could just Google it for you. The all of recorded history. You said you specifically said all of recorded history. Polaris has never moved. And then you said maps. And so I'm asking, well, what maps? You're thinking in your head, you've got some maps in mind.
Star maps.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a planetarium?
Yes, in fact, I have. So what specific maps are you talking about? And I asked, do you mean like a nautical almanac? Because that's very important. You know, they track the positions of stars in the nautical almanacs, right?
And you have some almanacs that say the North Star wasn't above the North Pole.
I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a chance to support your claim. I'm trying to dig in to your claim.
I mean,
because you made a very specific claim, Al, right? Very specific.
It's not a claim. It's very well known, sir.
No, it's absolutely a claim.
It's not a claim. What is above the North Pole right now?
Well, I'm sorry. Let me. Page 22 of the Debater's Guide here says, "Those who assert must prove." So you have asserted that star maps, show that Polaris has never moved, and I'm just asking, which ones?
All of them.
Just name one, then. We'll find that one.
Every single map since recorded history of the stars.
Every single map since recorded.
Constellations also haven't changed.
Right, so every single map has Polaris never moving, none. And what's the precision of that none claim? What's the precision?
If it's a false map, it might have it moving.
A false map. So since you're begging the question, you've started with your pre-selected conclusion is that it doesn't move, and anything that doesn't match it is automatically false. Is that right?
Well, no, that's what you're doing, though.
But all you need to do is present evidence supporting your claim.
Go get a telescope and put it on the North Star.
All right. Well,
fix it somewhere.
Let me just demolish.
Go look at it next week.
Let me just demolish your claim here.
And go look at it when you're 80 years old. And the North Star is still going to be shining through it for the rest of your life.
All right, Al, here you go. Here's the Nautical Almanac from 1850. This is a map of the stars. That's what this is. It's detailed precision to the arc second mapping of the stars, right? 1850 Nautical Almanac says what about the location of Polaris? It says it's at 88 degrees 30 seconds or 30 minutes, 1.5 degrees from the center of rotation. Now, I'm not just saying that, it's right here on the page. This is 1900. We can go back. There you go. There's 1850. This is the Nautical Almanac, which is a map of the stars from 1850. In 1900, this is the page from 1900. We can look at that. that says it was at 88 degrees 46 minutes. So it's about 1 degree and 1/4, 1.25 degrees from the center. Now, in 2017, the Nautical Almanac, which is what sailors use to navigate, they need it to be good, right? 89 degrees 20 minutes from the center. That's 2/3 of a degree from the center. And here it is on the page right there. Right now that wasn't enough for me, right? 1.5 degrees over about 170 years. It wasn't enough for me. So I looked farther back, recorded history, like you said. Let's see. Henry Draper. We got Tycho Brahe. He measured its location. You know where he put it? When he measured it, 86 degrees 53 minutes. So about 87 degrees. So that's 3 degrees from center in 1570.
Okay, but
you said recorded history. This isn't that far back of recorded history, is it? It is indeed not very far back. We can go back a little bit farther.
If you're making that assertion, you have to measure the movement.
No, that's not. You said recorded history. That was your claim, Al.
Right.
Remember, you said, and so you weren't there for all of recorded history.
Matt.
So your assertion about where it is clearly wasn't about what you measured, is it? That double standard I'm not going to let fly, Al. That's obviously just your get out of jail card. And it's not working with me, Al.
Well, no, you see, you can't just come up, you can't just say, okay, Airy's failure proved that starlight moves and the telescope remains stationary.
I didn't say
Michelson-Morley proved there's no rotation of Earth.
No, it doesn't.
Michelson-Gale proved ether moves, not the Earth.
No, it doesn't. These are just your assertions.
The ether and no vacuum exists.
So here's the problem. Let's go to this. Let's go to, now that I've demolished your Polaris thing. I've demolished your parallax thing because you made a claim, refused to support it. I demolished your claim with actual evidence. And then you're like, you didn't measure it yourself, therefore it's invalid. No, sorry. You weren't there for Michelson-Morley. You're not old enough. You weren't there for Michelson-Gale. You're not old enough. You weren't there for Airy's failure. You're not old enough. None of those things can you now claim by your standard of evidence, or do you want to just change that back to normal standard of evidence?
Well, I mean, you're claiming that the firmament changes and not that the Earth is in motion then.
The firmament doesn't exist.
It doesn't. Well, how come the constellations remain the same year round?
Oh my gosh. I already showed you. They don't. Polaris is one of many stars that are listed in these nautical almanacs. On my website, mc2.net/Polaris, you can go download the nautical almanacs. I've done the work for you to get a copy of the 1850 almanac, the 1900 almanac, the 2017 almanac. You can get all of them, and you can see that all of the stars in the constellations move. All of them.
Okay.
Al.
Okay.
All of them.
Every one of them,
Al.
Let's move on to where we were during the flat Earth science debate. Since you want to just say all these experiments are false, even though
no. Let me make it clear. Those experiments that you're citing are very good experiments, but your interpretation of them is completely wrong and self-contradictory.
Well, but no, it's not my interpretation.
It certainly is.
No, it's not. You're interpreting these experiments to be something other than they're not.
Oh, well, I mean, I have them right on screen and we can read them. I have Michelson-Morley on screen right now. What page of this says that this proves whatever you said that it proves?
Okay, see, you're trying to be too technical, and I think you're scared.
I'm absolutely being technical because this is a technical paper. I get to be technical because that's what this paper is. That's what this experiment is. It's very technical.
Okay, let's talk about where we met each other on the flat Earth science debate. The proof that you and your buddy who called me a retard, Tyler, who I think is a fucking moron, and he would never say it to my face. But anyways, you guys claim that we can measure the speed of the Earth based on Bob Nodel's experiment with a digital instrument.
Yes, definitely.
That's your evidence? What
That's
you
no,
saw
that wouldn't be
earther
my
do on
primary.
television?
Yeah, that wouldn't be my primary evidence for the
Okay.
rotation of the Earth.
Why can't we measure it with a mechanical gyroscope then?
Oh, well, funny you should say that. Well, Bob Nodell, not that I would really say that he's a scientist, but Bob Nodell commissioned somebody to build a mechanical gyroscope, and they kind of measured. Anyway, why can't, so the, right here, an apparatus for measuring the speed of the rotation of the Earth is the name of the paper here. This uses two 50-centimeter spinning discs, each with a mass of 30 kilograms. They're spinning around 2,400 RPM. It's suspended by a wire and allowed to rotate freely. In the conclusion, an agreement within 2% was found to exist between the angular speed of the rotation of the Earth, as derived from the terrestrial motion phenomena, and the astronomical Earth rotation. Right there, mc2.net/spin. You can jump right down there to the link to the publication. And I went to the trouble of downloading the PDF, and you can click on that PDF right there, and you can actually get it yourself. You can look at the apparatus that they built. You can see on how they suspended it. Very nice. It's a good job they did. So they can, in fact, measure the rotation of the Earth with a mechanical spinning gyroscope like that. Now,
who is they? Who is they?
That, well, the people that did. I mean, I can give you the names of the authors.
But you can't do it. You can't do it.
I'm sorry. You again with the double standard of evidence here.
Well, that's not a double standard.
Absolutely, you are happy to cite Airy's. You're happy to cite Airy's, Michelson Morley, Michelson Gale. You didn't do it, but you're happy to cite them. But as soon as I show something, I have to do it myself. That's a double standard. Double standard is a lie.
That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. You're telling me I wasn't born then, and I have to do the experiment.
No, I never said that you have to do it yourself. Don't put those words in my mouth.
Okay.
You are the one making that claim, not me.
Let's move on so you can get some more views, because this is getting boring for people.
Yeah, for those watching, boring is, oops, I made a claim and couldn't support it and got smashed again. But okay, go ahead. What's your next?
Okay. Do you think the Earth is moving 66,600 miles an hour around the sun?
That's a obviously a cherry-picked number because you love that number so much?
Well, no, that's
why do you love that number so much? Are you a Satanist that you're bringing up that number? What is it with you with you flirfs and Satan? Like, you guys are all about Satan. Weird. But no, that's one of the many speeds that the Earth rotates, or orbits around the sun.
And how do you know that?
How do you know? We talked about parallax before, and I showed you the parallax measurements before.
Can you measure that speed with any mechanical device? 66,000. Well, Google says 67,000. So let's believe that.
There you go.
Let's round up to 67,000 miles per hour.
Okay.
How do you measure that?
How do you measure that? Okay. Well, there's a few ways that you can do it, but one, we know the distance between the Earth and the sun.
No, we don't, because that distance has changed.
Wait, you asked the question. I'm glad to answer it. You'll have to listen while I answer it, though, Al.
I'm interrupting because you're making a false assertion. We know the distance. Okay, see, what you guys do is you say, oh, well, the Earth's so big, you can't see curvature. Right. Everything's so big, it can't be measured. Blah, blah, blah. But you measured 93 million miles away?
All right, here you go. All right, here's our infinite regression. So here, radar bounces off the sun. Here's a paper from 1966, Jesse James. Not the same Jesse James. About 1,000 daily radar experiments have been made at the Sun El Campo, Texas, since April 1961. This paper presents some of these results. Briefly, one radar experiment performed transmitting a coded signal toward the sun for 16 minutes, the round trip time, and then received the echo for the following 16 minutes. The average transmitted power is 500 kilowatts. That's pretty stinking powerful. And the antenna gain is 33 to 36 dB relative to isotropic. So there's a picture of the radar array that they used to actually send this radar to the sun, bounce it off the sun. And again, I have the paper there for.
How could they bounce radar off the sun, sir, if we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour?
Well, you send it with
Do you
the
know
radar,
how long,
and then it comes back.
How long it would take to go 93 million miles and back?
Yeah, 16 minutes. It says it right there. I read that. 16 minutes. 8 minutes there, 8 minutes back. I'll get to that. I'll
That's
get to the
a great
numbers.
assertion, except for there's nothing you have that can measure that.
Well, it's actually been measured. It wasn't that difficult. They did it in the 60s. It was built in the late 50s there.
Okay.
Right.
Are you aware?
Hold on. This is cool. I'm going to show you. I'll show you. There's some cool. I think this is the one. I might be wrong. Yeah, it's the other one maybe. This one here. Wrong one. Hold on a second. There it is. So they actually have. Oh darn it! This isn't the one either. They have.
There's that COVID shot kicking in. Did you get a flu shot?
No, I hate the flu shot. Ugh, never. So, all right. Anyway, so they sent it. These two different papers that I referenced here. The second one here, solar radar astronomy with the low frequency array, plasma theory of solar radar echoes. So this actually talks about how it happens. Radar probing of the sun again talks about how it happens. Anyway, how do you know? And this is a great question you asked. I love that question. How do we know from this how long it took? Well, or how far away it is. So one of them took 16 minutes, specified that it took 16 minutes. The other one talked about 1,000 seconds. So we average those together. We get one-way direction, 490 plus or minus 10 seconds. The speed of light there is just under 300,000 kilometers per second. Radar is part of the non-visible spectrum of light. The distance is velocity times time. Calculating the margin of error, what we get is 100.
Hang on 1 second. Do you think the speed of light is constant?
Yeah, it definitely is.
It is.
In fact, the length of the meter is indexed.
Hold on. If it definitely is, if we could achieve the speed of light and we turned a bright light on, are we now creating twice the speed of light?
No, that's special relativity. You should look into special relativity. Nothing in your reference frame can ever go faster than the speed of light.
According to Einstein, maybe.
Yeah, and empirically confirmed. Anyway,
well,
let's
like
get back to this.
Him Fraudstein.
Well, you probably do, but never has anybody falsified him. So go ahead, falsify him. Anyway, here is how we know the distance to the sun. So when we take the geometric mean of those two times, we get 146 million kilometers or 146 billion meters. So that's one of the measurements of the distance to the sun. So I said, you use the distance to the sun. You said, how do we know the distance to the sun? Here's one of them. This is on my webpage, mctoon.net/sun. There's some other measurements of the distance to the sun if you want to look at them as well. Anyway, so there's one. That's how we know the distance to the sun. Now, hold on.
Are you aware, according to science, that these numbers have changed at least 5-6 times or more?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know that? I think it was our ball measured the sun at 3 million miles away. Then it changed.
The very first quality measurement of the distance to the sun was right in the same number, the same range as we have now. So nobody has done quality, like where they thought it was a good actual measurement of this distance to the sun. Before that, they're like, well, this method is a bit sloppy. We're not sure of it. So no, the distance to the sun measurements, as is the common flurf meme, is not correct. So anyway, we got into this because you asked me a question. What was the question? You asked me, how do we know the speed of the Earth around the sun?
Right. And
Okay. So
we
number
don't.
one,
We
take.
don't though.
Oh, we do. So number one, you take the distance.
There is
Uh,
no speed, sir. There is no speed. We're not
hold on a second.
moving.
I'm giving you the actual empirically based measurements and of these things, right? And
That's
and
not
and just saying,
empirical
no.
science.
Yeah, yes, it is. Actually, sending radar, bouncing it off the sun is 100% empirical science.
Absolutely not.
Well, what is empirical science then?
Well, why didn't they bounce it off sooner?
That's not,
How do you
I'm
even
sorry.
know
I
it's
asked a
being
very specific
bounced
question. What is empirical science if this is not empirical science?
Can we repeat it? No.
Yes. I have two of them listed right here. We've got the first one here, radar studies of the sun at 38 MC/S. We got radar echoes from the sun. Actually, there's four of them. That's one right here, radar echoes from the sun, radar echoes of the sun at 38 milliseconds per second. We've got solar radar astronomy at the low frequency array, right? And plasma theory. Oh, no, there's just three of them maybe. Anyway, so yeah, so it's repeatable. All right, so if this is not empirical, what is the definition of empirical?
Well, let's move to the next thing. Okay. Is the sun moving 500,000 miles an hour, according to you?
Yes, the sun moves in relation to the center of the galaxy.
Okay, so we're spinning at 1,000. We're going 67,000 around an object that's moving in a third direction, going 500,000 miles an hour.
Yes.
I think they quote 448,000.
Yeah. Well, right here, 235,000 kilometers per second.
Those speeds are incomprehensible. There's
you,
nothing
yes.
empirical about that.
I agree. It is incomprehensible to you, but certainly the people that did this particular study, they comprehended it just fine.
That's a bunch of nonsense. Now, are you familiar with something called the Great Attractor?
Yes. Some people have referred to me as that, but I disagree. I am not the Great Attractor.
Now, do you think everything's moving towards the Great Attractor at over 1.3 million miles per hour in a fourth direction?
No. I think the universe tends to be expanding is what the current idea is. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's an assertion. Yeah. That's a wild assertion that I haven't heard yet.
You haven't heard that yet? That's been around for quite a while. Hubble.
No.
Look up Hubble.
They pretty much claim that it's going 1.342 million miles per hour towards the Great Attractor.
All right. Well, do you have any falsification of that? Of course not. I ask rhetorically.
Well, if I put a gyroscope on a table, it stands still till it's touched.
Well, no.
If we were moving in those
not a gyroscope like this one though. This particular gyroscope actually rotates about 15 degrees an hour. At depending on the latitude. So 15 degrees times the sine of the latitude, I think.
Asserts.
So it's a measurement. It's an empirical measurement. But what if this isn't an empirical measurement? What is an empirical measurement?
What do you mean? What is an empirical measurement?
Well, you tried to hand wave off the empirical measurements of the distance to the sun by saying they're not an empirical measurement, but you didn't actually tell me why they were not an empirical measurement. So I'm still curious. What is what is your standard? What is your yardstick? What is your yardstick for making an empirical standard?
You claim Airy's failure is not an empirical measurement.
I think Airy's failure is fantastic. It's a great falsification of luminiferous ether.
That is an assertion.
That's
an opinion.
It certainly is, and it is in agreement though with the other experiments that have done around the same topic, like Michelson-Morley and Michelson-Gale Pearson.
But you're saying those are
Kennedy
all false
Thorndike
too, so.
and a bunch of the others. So say that again.
Okay, but you're saying those experiments have been falsified as well.
No. So Michelson-Morley and Airy's failure both falsified the idea of a luminiferous ether. Michelson-Gale Pearson successfully measured the rotation of the Earth using the Sagnac effect.
Nonsense.
Sorry, nonsense is not a refutation. For 10 years into this, and that's all you got, Brett, Brett, you greatly overestimated. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he didn't overestimate anything.
So many Karen says new evidence. There was old evidence? Where? Got some people in the audience that are chiming in a little bit.
Probability theory, an empirical measure is a random measure arising from a particular realization of a usually finite sequence of random variables.
An interesting set of words. Are they related to our conversation here somehow?
I'm sure they are. Somebody just sent it to me. Okay. I'm reading what they're sending me to you.
Got it. Dave Curvature says, thank Titicaca. It's Tuesday again. What is your favorite?
Dave Curvature?
Oh, he's in the audience. In the live chat there. What is your favorite lake in Peru?
My favorite lake in Peru?
Yeah.
I've never been to Peru, so I don't have a favorite lake there.
You don't have
My favorite lake in Michigan is Lake Michigan.
Yeah. I've not been to Peru either, but I can still have a favorite lake there, can't I? You can. My favorite lake in Peru.
Let me read you a quote from Nikola Tesla. Einstein's relativity work is a magnificent mathematical garb which fascinates, dazzles, and makes people blind to the underlying errors. The theory is like a beggar clothed in purple, whom ignorant people take for a king. Its exponents are brilliant men, but they are metaphysicists rather than scientists. Nikola Tesla.
Interesting. Now, are you a fan of Tesla? Do you agree with Tesla?
I'm Serbian as well.
But do you agree with him, like on science?
I agree with him that on this for sure.
Okay, so all he did was make some assertions. He didn't actually go to the claims of general relativity or special relativity and test them against reality. All he did was say he didn't like them. So I don't really care. He didn't like them. If you want to falsify something, go falsify it. He did no such thing. Now, let me give you another quote from Nikola Tesla.
Well, he might have. He might have, because the government came in and took all that guy's paperwork after he died.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before. Anyway, it's useless.
And you don't think that's true?
I don't think that's meaningful in any way at all. But here, let's have another Tesla quote. Accepting all this is true, let us consider some of the forces and influences which act on such a wonderfully complex automatic engine with organs inconceivably sensitive and delicate, as it is carried by the spinning terrestrial globe in lightning flight through space. Nikola Tesla, How Cosmic Forces Shape Our Destinies. New York American, February 7, 1915. There you go. So, a quote by Nikola Tesla that you have tried to present as unquestionable evidence, I suppose, is what you're trying to do. I did the same thing. So will you question the evidence there that we agree with Tesla on that?
Well, Tesla also has a quote that gravity doesn't exist. Are you familiar with that?
I am familiar with that assertion, but I don't think you quite understand what he's saying there.
Okay, can you read that quote? Pull that one up.
I don't have it. Maybe ask your friend to send it and the citation for it.
So somebody out there, send me that quote of Nikola Tesla.
And the citation. Let's because there are some definite quotes attributed to Tesla that are lies, that are often.
Do you think Tesla was the smartest man that ever lived?
Oh no. He was a pretty good engineer for a while. But after his prime, he kind of lost a lot of his ability. His innovations weren't all that interesting. He did definitely have some issues as he got older, but he did some interesting things. He did some great work on radio frequency transmissions. The ability to have 5G work is based on Tesla. Some of his stuff. So, all right. I got a couple other. The audience has been chiming in quite a bit.
They sure are.
They have. So Kyle, let's see. Kyle says, I'm happy to finally make a live after a year of binging replays. Thanks for helping a history nerd understand math and science better, Toon. Well, you're welcome. Not a Duck. Ooh, this is troubling. Not a Duck says dihydrogen monoxide is present in Lake Titicaca, which is my favorite Peruvian lake.
Which is flat. Which is flat.
It's measured to be curved. But anyway, so yeah, Lake Titicaca does have dihydrogen monoxide in it. Tell you what, I'll send you an invitation to my dihydrogen monoxide truthers group.
Okay, are you ready for another Tesla quote? This is my favorite of them all.
Let's start with the citation so that we can have it and make sure that it's actually said by him instead of asserted to be said by him. Because if it's the one talking about a realm, that's an absolute lie. He never said that.
Oh, it is. Earth is a realm. It's
that's
not
a lie.
Planet.
Are you happy to lie? Why do you think it's appropriate to lie?
It is not an object, therefore it has
That's a
no
lie.
edge.
Tesla didn't say that.
Earth would be more easily
But he didn't say that.
as a system
Why do you keep saying? Why do you continue to quote him, which is an absolute lie?
Hold on,
are you a Satanist now? Let me just confirm there, Al. Are you a Satanist?
And you're sitting there drinking a tab with a bat on your shirt.
Yeah, but anyway, so you agree that you're a Satanist?
I agree you're a Satanist, whether you believe in Satan or not, whether you know it or not. Hey, did NASA do a good job on your hair like they do on that lady's hair? That's the proof that they're at the ISS. Let me finish reading this quote, though, so the viewers can hear it. Earth is a realm. It is not a planet. It is not an object, therefore it has no edge. Earth would be more easily defined as a system environment. You disagree with that so far?
That is 100% a lie. He never said that.
Earth is also a machine. It is a Tesla coil. The sun and moon are powered wirelessly with the electromagnetic field, the ether. The field also suspends the celestial spheres with electromagnetic levitation. Electromagnetic levitation disproves gravity because the only force you need to counter is electromagnetic force, not gravity. The stars are attached to the firmament. Nikola Tesla.
Now, why did you lie? I want to know, Al. I have on screen right here for everybody to see that is not actually something that Tesla said.
Really?
You are easily indoctrinated. You are extremely gullible, Al. Why are you so gullible and easily indoctrinated?
Took all that guy's papers?
It's right here on screen. Everybody, there's let's see here. We've got 569 people just watched you lie.
And watched me lie.
Yes.
Okay. And you can prove that how? That's an assertion.
You should know better than to ask me, shouldn't you? All right, there you go. There is.
So somebody wrote that it's a lie. So that's true. And this quote isn't true.
So here it is. The quote by Tesla was taken from The Problem of Increasing Human Energy, in which Tesla mentions the word globe 12 times, gravity 4 times, planet 10 times. It's clear Tesla was not a flat earther. The Earth is a realm quote is often wrongly attributed to Nikola Tesla in flat earth communities and incorrectly regarded as evidence that Tesla believed the earth is flat. Someone wrote pseudo-scientific drivel and added an actual quote by Nikola Tesla. Flat earthers wrongly assume both statements are made by Tesla, and it became a hoax, claiming Tesla was a flat earther.
And that is authored by who?
This is on flatearth.ws. But here's the thing. You can easily falsify that claim by producing the place that Tesla wrote that.
Oh, my God.
That's all you need to do. Now, remember, when I quoted Tesla, I gave you The citation, I said it was New York American, February 7, 1915. And so this is what it looks like to actually back up your claim. Right here, New York American, February 7, 1915. This is from Tesla. Now, that is how you back up a claim, by actually having the citation. Now, you have asserted that Tesla said all these things. He did not. It's an absolute lie. Flat earthers are serial liars.
According to some shill flat earth organization, why are you going to a flat earth organization to get your information?
This is a flat earth debunking organization.
They're a bunch of, that's your liars.
And for reference,
you're a liar.
I am a patron of...
Everybody just heard you lie.
I am a patron of flatearth.ws. So people, go ahead. If you like flatearth.ws's work, become a patron as well. Anyway, all you need to do to support your claim...
If that flat earth debunking site said it, then it must be true, right?
Page 22. This is easy. You can embarrass me. Right? Here's how you embarrass me. Those who assert must prove. All you need to do to embarrass me, Smokin' Al, is find where Tesla said what you asserted he to say.
Well, I mean, put it
all you need to do is show that. That's it. You super easy.
We're moving 67,000 miles an hour.
You're deflecting because you know you can't.
I'm not deflecting.
This is you certainly are, because you changed the topic immediately. Immediately you changed the topic when you got demolished. You're just trying to get into some
technical garb. Your proof is technical. Hold on. Debunking group online. What a bunch of nonsense.
Technical. This isn't technical. It's not technical to support your claim that Tesla said something. That's simple.
So now Tesla.
Where did he say that?
Okay.
Where did he say that?
Okay. Did an explosion occur out of nothingness that created everything, according to Michael Toon?
Well, that is not actually the claim. I think you're talking about the Big Bang. That is not the claim of the Big Bang. So probably not.
Are you familiar with who invented the Big Bang?
Probably not. It was a Catholic.
His name is George Lemaitre. The guy was a Belgian priest.
Yeah, he's a Catholic.
And he's the one who invented the Big Bang. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to, do you know when the first globe was created?
The first existing globe, the earliest existing globe, is from 1496, I think, 1495.
Right.
So
this lie that they have you believing is only about 500 years old.
No, not at all. In fact,
there's a book called The 500-Year Heliocentric Lie.
In fact, unlike you, where is it? I have it. I have the book here. Oh, here it is. Here it is, right here. Hold on.
Which one?
This is from Jeffrey Burton Russell. It's Inventing the Flat Earth, Columbus and Modern Historians. So this talks about Washington Irving's falsified claims about everybody in the 1400s, where Washington Irving claimed that people thought the Earth was flat back then. That's not actually the case. Jeffrey Burton Russell spends a good deal of time going through historical documents through time and writings by different people that talk specifically about the spherical shape of the Earth. Now, I can give you several citations, and I've looked up some of them from this book and documented them. So let me see if I can find it. It's Hippo. Hippo is what I'm searching for. I haven't put it on my main page yet. There it is. History of the knowledge of the Earth being a sphere. I'll share this to you as well. And this is a work in progress. I don't have all the citations up at the present. But
let me ask you.
Hold on. No, let's stay on this topic here for a little bit longer.
Well, while you're doing that, though, because we're on the same topic.
I'm already done. It's already on screen.
Are you familiar that the stars align with the Great Pyramids of Giza?
You could go to a different topic here. Yeah, I am aware of that claim, but the precision of the measurement is not very good.
Pictures of it.
All right,
you can go take a picture of that yourself.
Yeah. So, but you said recorded history. No. So anyway, Where'd it go? Here it is. All right. This book, you're going to love it in a second. All right. So here we go. 1495 about BC. Pythagoras was one of the earliest attributed to talking about the Earth being a sphere. Here we have 300 BC. Euclid wrote about it at length in right here, Phenomena. And here's the translation of it into English that I have in book form here. I actually have a link to it. So this is on it's a rather long URL on my website here.
Have you read Edward Henry's books?
Oh, yes.
I'm sure you're familiar with William Carpenter.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Carpenter's a bunch of. He was a madman. Ooh, he was angry. Anyway, so.
Oh, that guy's excellent, man.
So anyway, so here, 300 BC. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. This was written in 300 BC. This was not written in 1400s. This was
not
almost 2,000 years prior. This was written.
That's a crazy assertion.
Okay.
And you definitely weren't born that year. So
yeah, so I couldn't have written it. Anyway, Archimedes in 2012 or 212 BC talked about, I have a link to his writing here. We have Eratosthenes, who measured the radius of the Earth.
That's another fallacy right there, because there's no documented evidence that even happened.
Fine. Anyway, Pliny
something about
79. Hold on, I'm giving you some
of Alexandria and Syene are 600 kilometers apart. And this guy did this in 2 BC. So what did he have? Zoom or Facebook?
194 BC.
Okay, well. And how come in all the Greeks' artwork they show a flat Earth with a firmament over it? Then?
They don't, actually. That has nothing to do with it, though.
They do. They don't show a globe.
Atlas is shown with a globe on his shoulder. Are you not familiar with that? Think about that one. That was a straw. You shouldn't have grasped at that one. Anyway, why do you think that they needed a Zoom call?
What's that?
Why do you think Eratosthenes needed a Zoom call?
How do you think he could measure the angles of sunlight in Syene and Alexandria 600 kilometers apart in that year on the same day at the same exact time?
Yeah, he didn't need to be in Syene. He only needed to be in Alexandria because he knew on that particular day in Syene, every year on that particular day, the same thing happened. So he didn't need to go there to verify it the next year. He had been there the prior year. And he's like, hold on a second. The sun is directly overhead in Syene on this day. Let me think about that. Well, it took him a year. A year later, he's like, here's the plan. And so he had a pole of some sort, and he used the height of it. So he didn't need to go to Syene. He knew what was happening in Syene without actually being there.
Okay, you're
happened every year.
You're aware that with a sun that is small, like 23 miles to 56 miles wide and 3,000 miles high, that experiment works the same on a flat Earth, right?
Not at all. I did it myself.
Oh, it sure does. It sure does.
Oh, well, all right. Let's see your math. Go ahead.
The assertion is if you take a fourth location with a well.
Go ahead. Let's see it. Do the math. Show the geometry.
That is one.
Show the geometry. I want to see it.
What do you mean? Show you geometry. What do you mean?
He who asserts must prove.
Okay, your proof that Earth is a globe is an experiment that may or may not have happened what year again?
No. What I was talking about Eratosthenes, because this is a history of people knowing about the sphericity of the Earth. We don't need to look at the results of his experiment or his measurement. We know that at the time people were talking about the sphericity of the Earth. So that's just simply a refutation to your claim that people only knew things about the Earth back in 500 years ago. Yes. Excellent. Good job. So add in another location.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can. Yeah, add in another location that's 45 degrees north latitude.
And what do you think will occur?
It won't match.
That's an
Al,
assertion.
I can do the geometry.
Okay.
I did the geometry, Al. You can't do the geometry, can you? You can't. Can you solve a triangle, Al? Here's a question, Al.
Sure.
Here's a question
Sure.
for you.
You're beating around the bush because
if you have a triangle size 1, 1, and 1.
Hold on. You're beating around the bush because you're getting defeated, and you're trying to get into all this technical garb.
Oh, Al, come on.
Come on, man. Are you high right now, dude?
Dude,
Did you smoke some weed before this meeting?
Tell you what, when I was in 7th grade, I took shop class, and we were doing, or it was 8th grade. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We were rebuilding engines. So we'd take apart engines and we had to put them back together, and then we'd have to go outside of shop class. So there's a door out the back of the shop classroom, and we'd go outside. And now the teacher, he didn't pay attention. Typical shop class teacher. He'd sit in his office the whole time for every hour, every time we had shop class. And so people were outside just messing around, working on their engines. Well, I go out the door and there's this guy, and he's kind of tall, and he played basketball, and he's trying to light something, and I didn't understand what he's doing. And he's sitting there, he's sucking on, and he's got a lighter, and he's trying. I'm like, he's not lighting that very successfully. Right. And I'm just looking, I'm like this far from him. Right. I'm just looking at him like, what are you doing? And he looks down at me and he blows smoke in my face. Right. And then I got dizzy. And thus begins and ends all of my experience with marijuana.
Mm-mm-mm. That was it, huh?
That was it. That one time, I don't think the statute of limitations is done yet, but don't tell anybody. So, all right.
So getting back to basics, you have no mechanical device that can prove that we're going 67,000 miles an hour around the sun. Just like I said on
I already covered the mechanical device about orbit or rotation, right?
Yeah, but that's an assertion.
That's
a
measurement.
On your
it's
desk
an empirical.
I don't
it's an empirical
see a
measurement.
gyroscope on your desk there.
It doesn't need to be on my desk, right? Your dual standard of evidence is clearly a dishonest trick.
No, not really. I'm just telling you, if you're making that's why we originally decided to do this.
To do what?
This debate.
No, this debate was you claiming that everybody is a flat earther, and I said that's not true.
I am claiming that because
but you have no evidence. All you've done is make assertions. And may I remind you that page 22 of the Debater's Guide says those who assert must prove. So you've made many assertions, but never actually presented even the slightest bit of evidence. And the couple things that you've like, you misquoted Tesla.
Well, water is the evidence.
What do you mean?
Do you agree Earth is covered in 71% water?
Yeah, it doesn't work for flat Earth. You'd need a lot more. But yes, I do agree. 71% about.
And water is level.
Yes, true. Water is level. Level being a curved surface.
No, level is not a curved surface.
Oh, well.
Oh my Lord.
Merriam-Webster disagrees. Do you know that?
Well, Merriam-Webster's on crack.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like you just want to redefine the definition of level. But anyway, here is right here. This is
hilarious. Level is a curved surface.
Yeah, right there. So here is Merriam-Webster.
Hold on. Do you have a level handy?
A level is no, sorry. This is the adjective level, not the noun level that we're talking about. So the adjective that describes the surface of the earth. So having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the earth's surface. So I agree, 71% of the surface of the earth is level water, curved.
That is an oxymoron.
I don't care. It's right there. Your I don't believe it has exactly zero value. right there, Merriam-Webster. Now, this isn't the only one. Here's from a surveying journal book.
That is hilarious.
Trigonometric leveling right there. Level surface is a curve right there. Here's another one. Level surface is that curve. You've got level line and horizontal line. You see that? Now the definition of level, the actual definition of level is a curve. In consequence of the globular figure of the Earth, a level surface is not, as it appears to be, a plane surface. It is nearly, though not exactly, spherical, because it's elliptical. It's an ellipsoid. Anyway,
nonsense.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Everybody viewing this, viewing this knows water does not curve and conform to the shape of a ball.
Do you have any measurements to support this assertion? Because remember, on page 22 of the Debater's Guide, it says those who assert must prove. Do you have any proof to support this?
And you're asserting that this water curves, but you have no proof. But
are you going to fall into my trap again, Al?
Hold on, though. Observation is part of science, correct or incorrect?
Yes, it certainly is. It's an early step in the process.
And when you observe flat water, you just imagine it's curved because Merriam-Webster told you it was?
I've seen the measurements of it. How about that?
But you haven't measured it.
I certainly have.
Okay, I got a question for you. I asked this to a gentleman at MIT. If we take an Olympic-sized swimming pool, now we don't want to overfill it because surface tension's real. We can agree with that, right?
Yep. It's not the surface tension. Yep.
Okay, if we just take a half-filled Olympic-sized swimming pool and we keep stretching it out and making it longer and longer.
Yes.
How big do we have to make it till that water in the middle of that pool is higher than the water on the outsides, in your opinion?
And any size.
Any size.
Yes.
That's complete nonsense.
Well, you asked the question. I gave you the answer. So let's say an Olympic-sized swimming pool is 50 meters.
The guy at MIT who trains astronauts claims it's 30 miles, that you would need to make it at least 30 miles.
To what?
Before that water in the middle would be higher than the outsides, which is nonsense.
Excellent. And what's the name? What's the name of this guy? Let's get him on right now. What's his name?
His name is Anand Mehta.
Anand Mehta. All right, let's call him up. How do you know him?
He unfriended me. He was a friend of a friend.
Is he on Facebook?
He should be. I debated him for a long time on private messenger. So he bowed out.
Yeah, well, I probably, because you just kept saying "nah" to obvious things. Anyway, A-N-D.
Trust me, this guy's a lot better than you at this.
Well,
he's the one that they sent to go see Kyrie Irving to try to talk him out of that.
All right. How do you spell his name?
Anand.
Yep.
And I believe it's M-E. Oh, I haven't looked at his name in a long time.
M-E-H-T-A, maybe?
That sounds right.
All right. And he works at MIT, you say?
Yep. He's a TA there.
He's a TA at MIT. And so the parameters of your question to him, I'm looking for him on, there it is, president of the Understanding Pursuit at MIT.
He later claimed that he never made that claim.
Oh, well, certainly you'd have screenshots of it, right?
I have it somewhere for sure.
Let's see. Studied physics at MIT. Anyway,
this guy's good.
I got him. All right. So tell you what. What bulge? So the bulge in the middle has a name. What's the name of that bulge in the middle of the body of water, curving body of water? What's the name of that bulge?
There is no bulge.
Yeah, but what's the name of it if you have a curving thing? And there's
what do you
a
mean?
Bulge in the center. There's a name for that particular thing. What's the name of it? It's called the sagitta. Sagitta. What's the sagitta? Is the bulge in the center. So
it doesn't exist.
So you have asserted and never provided evidence. Anyway, so a 50-meter pool, which is a large Olympic pool there, a regular Olympic pool. Sorry, I keep burping here. The Sagitta curve. Hold on, I got the wrong thing here. But the amount of curve in the surface of that water is 0.000449 degrees. So now,
which is almost nothing. It sounds like a bad measurement.
Indeed, it is a very small amount. So do you expect to see, just to be clear, do you expect to see 0.000449 degrees of curve? Do you think that your eyes can see that?
No, absolutely not.
Do you think that your eyes can see, how much curve do you think on the surface of something just from a distance that your eyes could see?
Well, I mean, I have pictures of 600-mile sections of flat water.
All right, you didn't answer my question. Is there a reason why you're not answering? Just how many degrees of curve do you think your eyes could be able to see? Right, because at 0004, you can't see it. You have no idea?
I have no idea how many degrees.
Let me suggest that you probably could not identify without assistance 3 degrees of curve across your field of view.
According to Michael Toon?
No, it's just a guess. Yeah, it's my guess at what you might not be able to see.
Russia freezes over every year. It's 395 miles long. Where's the 20 miles of curved ice?
Just show the measurements of flatness. Do you have them?
Hold on.
Holding on. Well, let me get over to this again while I'm holding. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not a measurement. That's just an assertion. You're just reasserting the same thing.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Do you have an actual measurement though? That's
there.
That's not a measurement. That's just the math.
How is that not a measurement?
How do you not know that that's just math? That's not the actual measurement. This isn't confusing. Why are you so confused that you think that this math is actually a measurement? Measurement would be something that people would need to go and do. They'd need to bring precise measurement instruments out to that lake and do the actual field work of it.
People have been out to all kinds of lakes and done these laser experiments.
Just send them.
And the only one that detected any curve was Jeranism on the same TV show that you're using, Bob Nodal.
Yeah, all of them actually confirm that the Earth is spherical. But you've made the assertion. Remember, page 22 of the Debater's Guide: those who assert must prove. So,
okay, that lake is 80 kilometers wide, 636 kilometers long.
All right. So what?
So we should have a heck of a curvature in that ice, and it's not there.
It's not there is an assertion. Do you have a measurement?
Oh my God! See, you can't just keep moving the goalposts.
That's not a moving the goalpost. That's. I'll go back to the Debater's Guide, page 22. Those who assert must prove. You have asserted yet again something.
Hold on, though.
This is a series of you making assertions and refusing to support any of them. This is exceedingly sad for you, Al.
It's really not, because you're asserting.
It absolutely is. You've never once supported any of your assertions.
You're asserting that the Earth is moving 66,600 because you're a devil worshiper.
No, that's your number, not mine. That's your number.
Well, and 67 will round up.
And I was working on showing you how that's done, but you interrupted me. You didn't want to hear it.
But hold on. You can't measure it with anything.
Yes, I was getting into how it was measured.
Well, but hold on. But what does your book say? You have to measure it.
No,
you can't.
My book doesn't say that I have to measure it. That's your crappy dual standard of evidence.
How's that? Read it again. Read it one more time.
Those who assert must prove. Yes.
Right. And
Yeah,
you're doing more than
I'm happy.
asserting that
I'm
we're
happy to
moving
bring up all of the
67
evidence to support all my assertions. You refuse to.
How do you figure?
Well, it's been an hour and a half of you making assertions and refusing to support it with any evidence, and an hour and a half of me making assertions and providing evidence to support it. Yes, good. There's
there
math.
is-
Where's the measurement?
oh
That
my
is not a measurement.
Lord. Oh my Lord.
Do you
in
have
heaven.
a problem understanding what a
I
measurement
just
is?
read you the measurements of that lake.
Where? That's the length. You read me the measurements of the length and width of it. You did not show me the measurement of flatness. That's your assertion.
Oh my Lord in
Where's the
heaven.
measurement of flatness?
I see why Jason lost
Where
his
is the
mind.
measurement of flatness?
It's flat.
So you have asserted over and over and over as a blind faith belief. Obviously, this is
Where is
100%
your
blind faith.
measurement? Where is your measurement of the Earth moving 67,000 miles per hour?
I'm glad to go over that, but you interrupted
You
me
don't
last
have
time.
one. Hold on.
You
though.
interrupted
You
me
don't
last
have a
time. Do you
measurement.
want me to go over it again? This time you can't interrupt me, though.
Okay, yeah, go over it again.
All right.
But but hold on. But you can't measure that speed. You have no device that can measure it. You have no mechanical device that can measure any of these speeds.
All right. Are you ready to use your ears to listen, not your mouth,
Okay.
while
Yeah,
I
let's go.
explain to you how we know the speed of the Earth around the sun? You ready?
We don't know. There is no speed.
All right, so you have asserted, but I can provide evidence to support my assertion. You cannot. I'm glad to provide the evidence to support my assertion. You just need to use your ears to hear it instead of your mouth to prevent me from delivering
Like I
to you this
said
message.
in the flat Earth science debate, you, that guy Tyler, and none of you all can produce any mechanical device that measures any of these speeds. None
I've
of them.
already
None of
given
them.
you a mechanical device that measures the rotation of the Earth.
You
Got
haven't.
it.
You've just showed a picture of something that you made an assertion it measures it.
Oh my goodness.
You don't have
Oh,
the
dear
measurements though. But you don't have the measurements.
All right. Well, let's go back to it. I'll bring it up again.
I mean, you already said level water is curved, which is a bunch of nonsense. and
Absolutely. All right.
Anybody with a brain in their head can figure that out.
All right. So it's not me. It's the definition of the word level for centuries. Centuries. I'm not making this up. This is the actual definition of the word. If you don't like the definition of it, if you think it's wrong, then again, the invitation is open for you to show the measurements of water being flat, not curved. But you refuse to do that. Instead, you just show a picture of some math, which is perfectly great. Super. But that's not a measurement. Anyway, here is
Are you
an apparatus.
familiar with a picture taken by a fellow named Joshua Nowicki?
Yes, I am. But that's you.
Hold on.
Could you control
Hold
your
on, hold
ADHD
on.
for a minute, please, Al?
Well,
Al,
but hold on. This is the
control
same topic.
your ADHD, please. It's
Oh, my
really,
Lord.
really a problem. I know it's something you probably
Hey,
struggle with every day.
Maybe
But
that guy that
you
diagnosed
specifically
you as
just this is the
schizophrenic
topic.
was right.
This is you. You were
Are
asking
you a
about
narcissist?
what?
Are you a narcissist?
I don't think so. But maybe you could find a psychologist and send him over. Anyway, you said there is no mechanical apparatus, and I'm showing you that here is the mechanical apparatus that measures the rotation of the Earth. Right here, an apparatus for measuring the Earth's speed of rotation. Right there,
Well,
that's
hold
what this
on.
is.
No, I asked for measurement of the 67,000 miles per hour.
Excellent. I'm glad to do that if you'll just let me. Will you let me, please?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. So, step one, we know the distance between the Earth and the Sun to be about
No, we
100.
don't.
About 100.
Hold
I already
on.
covered
No,
it.
we don't.
I already covered it. Stop interrupting
That's
me.
just an assertion.
Stop interrupting me. That's an
Yeah, but
empirical
hold on.
measurement.
You're making claims that are fact that aren't facts.
It's an here. Let me find
just
it again.
because everybody believes something, or just
Right.
because of the majority of people believe something,
it's
doesn't
not.
mean it's true.
I'm not appealing to majority. I'm appealing to an empirical measurement. That's what this is. This is an empirical measurement. This
that
this
is not
thing,
a mechanical
this was
device that measures 67,000 miles per
why,
hour.
why does it have to be a mechanical device?
Because
you put the goalposts there. Is that why? Do you have a mechanical device that measures the stationariness of the Earth? You don't have that. Use your own standard of evidence instead of being dishonest.
It's called a gyroscope. It's called a gyroscope, and you can measure the flatness of water with something called a theodolite.
This is a gyroscope right here that measures the rotation of the Earth. Do you have the gyroscope?
Picture of a contraption.
Support your claim.
Why don't you have one of those on your desk?
Because I don't need to in order to know that somebody else already did it. That's not the standard of evidence that you're using. You talked about Joshua Nowicki. You are not Joshua Nowicki. You don't get to cite Joshua Nowicki if that's your standard of evidence. You see, that's a dishonest dual standard of evidence. It's clear that you gotta lie to Flurf because you say that I have to have this on my desk.
You gotta lie to be a globe turd.
You claim I must have this on my desk in order for it to be valid evidence, but you are happy to cite evidence from somebody else. That's a dishonest dual standard of evidence, Al. Dishonest. That's what flat earthers are. Flat earthers are pathological liars. You are a pathological liar, Al.
I just say you falsified, or that's falsified.
How?
Like you claim.
Who falsified it?
Stagnac. Like you claim with Michelson Morley.
Stagnac was not falsified.
Airy's failure. What about the Bedford level experiment?
Yes.
Is that falsified too? Because Jeranism said it was falsified on television.
Yeah. Try to control your ADHD again. Here's the mechanical measurement. Now, do you want me to cover, or are you going to interrupt again? This is my last attempt to explain how we know the measured rotation, linear speed of Earth's rotation around the sun.
You can, but it's a bunch of nonsense.
Okay. Well, you've pre-asserted that it's a bunch of nonsense, which is a very dishonest thing.
Nonsense.
If
we were going 66,000 miles an hour, we'd be ripped into shreds.
How do you think that would be? Why?
That if we were moving 66,000 miles an hour, you wouldn't be able to survive that. No one would.
Those who assert must prove.
Why human?
Why do you think
has ever moved that fast?
Why is that impossible? Explain it.
Let me ask you a question. When a rocket goes out into space, supposedly, how does it ever catch back up with the Earth?
Oh my gosh, you don't understand relative motion?
Oh, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
This is elementary school stuff.
Hold on. Is a sniper's bullet affected by the rotation of the Earth?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Okay. Then how come when I hover over a location in a helicopter or a hot air balloon, that's not affected by it? And how come an airplane's not affected by it?
You just know nothing. You know nothing. Coriolis. Coriolis right here. Here's the formula. Here's the formula for Coriolis.
Nothing. You just want to
Al, here's look at right on screen. Here's the formula for Coriolis. Do you see this V right here? V is the velocity of the moving object. Man. If a helicopter is hovering, what's the velocity of the moving object in relation to the surface of the Earth? 0. The Coriolis force is 0 for a hovering helicopter.
And it's 0 for a moving airplane.
No, it's not. For a moving airplane, it's about 0.0367 meters per second squared.
That is complete nonsense.
Moving at 600 miles an hour at 70 degrees north. I took a bit of an extreme case.
I'll tell you what, man. You're lucky Eric Dubé didn't take your.
Eric Dubé is a coward.
Challenge.
Eric Dubé is a chicken.
That guy would rip you apart with all this.
He's so scared of me. He blocked me.
He is absolutely not scared of you, man.
Eric Dubé is a coward. He's scared of me. He blocks me because he doesn't want me embarrassing him.
Government. You know
he lives. No, he's not. You get to live. All of the people
you
have
know-
debated and demolished get to live. The government doesn't give a damn about you people.
Do you know what happened to the first guy that was the president of the International Flat Earth Society?
Who was that?
I don't know his name, but the guy prior to Eric Dubé. Do you know what happened to that guy?
You
They
mean
burned his house down. And they
Shenton.
burned all
Yeah.
of his records down.
They burned his house down. Those who assert must prove. He just said it. People just said it. He lived, his nearest neighbor was half a mile away. How did they burn it down?
Oh,
Such desperation.
I don't know how exactly they burned it down.
Tell you,
But they burned it down.
all of the straws have been grasped.
Same as they
Tell you what,
took
just a second.
Nikola Tesla's work.
Just a second. Hold on, Al. I gotta do.
They went and took Nikola Tesla's
Hold on a second,
work.
Al. I gotta do something here. Yeah. Hey, Greta, how you doing? Yeah, good. All right. Yeah. You know those sea turtles? They're all safe. Yeah. All the straws have been grasped. There's no straws left. Yeah. So, all of your campaigns for the sea turtles, you can. Yeah, this Al guy. Yeah, I know. All right. Love you too. Bye. All right. Just giving Greta the good news. Anyway, Eddie Reese says he's already trying to jump topics in order to avoid having to show any evidence for flat Earth. Eddie, you were that was a foretelling the future there. Chris Curtis, Flat Earth, says look up Malcolm Bowden for Airy's failure experiment explanation. There you go. That's why I asked if it was Chris that sent you that message. Eddie Reese says measurements are what the globe has and Flurfs lack. You haven't cited one measurement this whole time.
I think
10
the
years.
measurement of
10
your
years.
small penis with a caliper is an empirical measurement.
Dude, 3 inches. 3 inches. I've just a second.
Well, if
here,
you shave it, it might look 4, but you probably got a 70s bush.
3 inches I've found is too wide for most women. So anyway, Alan Bupre is asking, what, if anything, would change your mind, Al?
Change my mind about what?
About the shape of the Earth. What evidence would you accept for the shape of the Earth to change your mind?
Well, I'd like to see a real picture of the Earth. Are you familiar with the blue marble?
The 1972 blue marble taken by the Apollo 17 crew? Yes.
No, the one with, I believe his name is Robert Simon.
Yeah,
Simon.
that's not a photograph. So if you want to look
Right.
for a photograph,
None of their photographs.
if you
are
want to look at the
photographs.
photograph, you'd want to look at the one from the Apollo missions. So the one from 1972 would be great.
the one that has the matching clouds from the picture they put out in 2011.
No, it doesn't. In fact,
It does.
Yeah,
it has
the
same
1972
exact
blue marble does not. So then you said you wanted a real picture of the Earth, right? I'll
See, I had a
just a
buddy,
second.
used to be a friend that works at SpaceX, and they offered to bring me over to SpaceX to look at their live feeds from space.
Uh-huh.
And
You didn't
I
want
told
because it
them,
would hurt your
I don't need
religion?
to go there. All I wanted them to do is just pan that camera 360 degrees. And guess what? Unfriended, not friends
Dude,
with them anymore.
it's not hard
I
to
played
find-
volleyball with this guy on and off for 20 years.
It's not hard to find 360 degree pans. But anyway, here is all right. You're
It's
gonna
hard
love
to
this.
find
You want
one with the stars and the constellations,
so
correct?
would
'Cause they
would you
can't fake it.
accept a photographic slide taken on a 60 millimeter 60 millimeter film developed in a wet room or dark room, wet developed in a dark room? Would you accept that as a real photograph of the Earth?
I wouldn't, because I know there's not one.
You would not. So you've pre-rejected everything. So you go back to the anti-scientific method that you have selected your required conclusion. You will only accept supporting evidence, and you will automatically reject all contradicting evidence, and then declare that your pre-selected conclusion has been undeniably proven. That's what you've done. You've outlined the specific method that you are going to, that you will use. You've said you will not actually accept a picture because you've pre-selected the conclusion. So that's very dishonest. So I think the answer.
If it was real, I would accept it.
And what's your metric for determining if the photograph is real?
What is my metric for it? Well, I mean, you can when clouds are pasted and copied and there's the same clouds in a photograph, put it up. Let's take a look.
No. I'm going to get your standard of evidence first, and then I'm going to show you the evidence, and then you get to be exposed as a liar, or you get to be honest. We'll find out. So what is your standard? You said not copy pasted clouds. Anything else?
Well, it would have to look right.
Look right. Define look right.
Define look right. Well, I mean, you're a smart guy. You can figure out what look right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm just asking for you. How will you measure whether or not a photograph is correct or not?
Well, first of all these photographs have pasted and copied clouds. They have duplicate clouds. They have specs written in the clouds.
Okay, so if there are no,
have you ever seen
hold on, don't change the topic here. Don't change the topic. We're getting specific. I'm going to write it down here. So clouds. All right, I got it. Clouds. You're going to look at clouds. What else? What else is your metric for determining whether or not a photograph is real?
I'd like to see the stars and constellations in the background.
Why would you want to see stars? Do you not understand photography?
Oh my Lord in heaven.
Have you ever taken a photograph of the moon?
Yes.
Were there stars in that photograph?
Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not.
Unless the moon was drastically overexposed, there's no stars in it. So if you look at a picture of the Earth from space and the Earth is not overexposed, you should not see stars. Do you not know that? This is basic photography. You're old enough to have used film cameras, right?
Definitely.
Okay. So in film cameras, exposure was much more important. You had to figure things out yourself because people, they weren't all automatic.
Another thing that I would like
Hold on, let's stay on topic here. The topic is your metric for determining.
Another thing that I would like to see in these pictures is all these satellites that are supposed to be up there. Where are they?
Okay. Are you aware that there is bacteria on my hand?
I don't know. I didn't test
There
it.
is. I've washed,
maybe,
but not recently enough, and I didn't use an aggressive antibacterial solution. So there is bacteria on my hands. So just a second here. Are you aware? Are you aware of the bacteria? It's real, and if you had a microscope, you could see it. But can you see the bacteria on my hand? Al?
No.
Okay, so no. The reason why is what? Because it's too small, right?
Well, if it was lit up like a star, I'd be able to see it.
Okay, and if it's not lit up by a star, then you wouldn't be able to see it, right?
No.
Okay, so satellites, in fact, if you saw satellites orbiting the Earth, that would be a sign that it was faked.
On your hand correlate to seeing a star in a picture in any way, shape, or form?
Satellites.
It doesn't.
Satellites.
You're grasping for straws, buddy.
No, we're talking about satellites.
You're lucky Dubé didn't take that challenge.
Oh my gosh, I wish he would. Anyway, Al, I'm talking about bacteria.
You.
Bacteria on my hand here. You can't see it. I'm talking as a reference to satellites. So satellites are small.
Who Matt Purcell is out of Denver?
Yeah, ODD TV. Yep. Yeah.
Have you asked him to do a debate?
Yeah, he doesn't answer.
What about Daryl Marble?
He doesn't answer. I met him. He didn't like it. I met him at the Flat Earth Convention in 2019 in Dallas. I went there with
What's
Team
this other-
Skeptic, and he
What's this other Joker's name? I forget. The guy that's like out of Boulder area. He's the guy who was like in that Flat Earth documentary.
Yeah.
Mark Sargent.
Mark Sargent is in Washington.
Okay, what do you think about Mark Sargent?
He makes money at this enough to pay his bills, and it's doing well for him. But he's not very bright, and all he does is kind of repeat the same things as all the other people. So, but yeah, I've asked him, he doesn't respond.
Are you aware of how many satellites there's supposedly?
Yeah, there's thousands of them. Yeah.
How come they're not in any of these pictures?
They should not be in the pictures. If you saw them in the pictures, that would be evidence of fakery. Your inability to understand photography is a you problem, not a falsification of the picture. So you should not see stars. You should not see satellites. If you did, that would be evidence of fakery. All right, so you got clouds. You got your misunderstanding of stars and your misunderstanding of satellites. What else would be your standard of evidence for accepting a photograph of the Earth from space?
That's a really good question. It really is.
See, you said, when asked, what would you accept? And you said a real photograph, but you don't even know your own metric for what is a real photograph.
Well, you know what I would accept? Let me ask you a question. Why do you believe China is not sending one of their slave citizens up to the moon to walk around with an iPhone and point it towards Earth?
I don't know what that has to do with anything. It sounds like a deflection.
Well, I would believe that.
No, you wouldn't. You would hand wave dismiss it like everything else.
I would believe it. That's that COVID shock kicking in.
All right. So here's what you should do. You should actually
check it out, man. Same exact clouds. Which painting do you think is real?
There's no that 1978's a fake. NASA didn't have a photograph of the Earth from 1978. Al, that's a flat Earth lying meme.
Why are they putting out fake pictures?
No, that's a flat earther that lied, Al. A flat earther lied when they put that together. There wasn't a satellite. There wasn't anything far enough away from the Earth in 1976 to take that picture. NASA did not produce that picture from 1976. A flat earther intentionally lied and mislabeled it because flat earthers are serial liars.
Do you know who Jake Gibson is?
Yes.
The flat Earth asshole?
Yeah.
Have you asked him to do a debate?
Yes, he's scared of me. Do you know I proved Do you know that I proved that he lives in the basement of his mom's trailer house and that she feeds him Hot Pockets? I used the Jake Gibson scientific method to do that. I did a video on it. It's pretty good. Jake did not like it, but I proved using his method that that's true.
And he won't debate you either, huh?
No. I specifically called him out in the video where I proved that he lives in the basement of his mom's trailer and eats Hot Pockets.
Even if he did live in a basement of his mom's trailer, what would that matter?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that I used his method of science to prove that to be the case. Did you know that? Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I used his method.
I mean, that has no basis of him not wanting to debate you or not where he lives.
No, it's not related to that, but it's just a fun anecdote.
None of these guys' home situations or educational background, none of that matters when we have observable evidence, which is science.
Where? You haven't spent 2 hours now and you've brought none.
I mean, I'm going to call you from the hot springs and you can take a look at the water there. It's pretty big pool. There's no curvature in it. It's level.
How will you measure that whether or not there's curvature in it?
I can take a level, which they put water in a level so you can see how level something is. There's water in a bubble.
Here's the question. On the globe, How far do you need to travel to get 1 degree of difference in the angle of a level? How far do you have to go?
How far do you need to go?
Yeah, how far?
I have no idea because I don't have a level big enough to measure.
No kidding, you don't.
Neither do you.
In order.
So neither do you, though. You don't have a level.
I didn't. I wasn't the one that made the ridiculous claim that I would use a level to determine whether or not the Earth is a particular shape. That's a ridiculous thing to claim. That's your ridiculous claim, not mine.
If you have a pool table and you want to level it out, what do you use?
Yeah, you'd use a level for that so you can have it be orthogonal to the direction of gravity.
Okay, and why when Daryl Marble got on that plane with that spirit level, how come that didn't move the whole time?
Because it was always orthogonal to the direction of gravity.
That
always.
Is complete nonsense.
Because that's how an airplane works.
Those
Again,
are called
flat earthers don't understand the dynamics of flight.
You can't just go, oh, well, you don't understand. No, you don't understand what a spirit level is. Spirit levels don't lie. Obviously not, because you think some imaginary force is making it. Okay, what makes people not fall off your fantasy ball Earth? Gravity.
Yes.
What makes the level not measure the curvature in a plane? Let me guess. Gravity. What else?
Gravity is what keeps the level orthogonal to the downward direction.
Oh my God. I want to do this again. Can we do this again?
Sure. This has been great. Can we do the questions from the audience? I got a bunch.
Yeah.
How about that? All right. Yep. Eddie Reese says his sources are some dude whose credibility consists of trust me. Who was it not Chris Curtis sending you messages? Chris is a good guy. I like Chris.
I don't know who Chris Curtis is.
He's been on here before. He's in the live chat. I don't know. He isn't usually in here, but something brought him today. Stringer News 1 says gossip is the utmost authority for flirts. Many Karen's in Israel. Many says Al reading something a rando sent him is gospel. Tune reading an actual study is words on paper. Double standards much?
Right, but the Airy's failure and Michelson Morley and Sagnac and the Bedford levels, all that's just falsified, right?
No. Airy's failure and Michelson Morley falsified the luminiferous ether.
No, they did not.
Michelson Gale Pearson.
That's a ridiculous claim.
It was successful in measuring. The hypothesis was confirmed. Measure the rotation of the Earth. They use similar devices in large commercial airplanes. They have 9 of them in most of them, most airplanes. Anyway, what else? What other were you talking about? Oh, Bedford level, yes. Wallace and Hamden, a very good one. Wallace won a 500-pound bet against Flat Earther Hamden and actually received the money. And then Hamden went to jail for libel.
Well, they went to court over it.
No, he went to jail 2 times for libel against Wallace. Do you know that? Twice. Anyway. Yeah, so Bedford level is a great one that confirmed that the Earth is spherical as decided by an independent referee and awarded to Wallace. So I just got sent
something from a viewer, and this says the wheel produces the direction of precision because of the input of spin of the wheel. If the spin is reversed, the precession direction will be reversed. And if Earth was spinning, that would not be true.
So you say, but I don't think you quite understand how precision works. All right. Gary Wenbenga says, my cousin is building a faux cow experiment using a Holstein calf as the weight /bob. Do you know Gary Wenbenga?
No.
Oh, he's great. Caucasian Sensation says, flat maps exist to make the globe portable.
Yeah, except for that's all that existed prior to the year 1492.
Oh, no. Oh,
there was no globe maps before 1492.
Yeah, there were.
there weren't. And if you look at all the ancient cosmologies artwork, you see it. Hey, I found something for you. The exact science, sun's distance from Earth. Copernicus, 3 million miles. Tycho Brahe, 13 million. Kepler, 13 million. Isaac Newton, who you love his theories, right? Because gravity's a theory.
Gravity's a law, but go ahead.
He measured it at 28 million miles. Then on his second attempt, 54 million miles. And this was the exact science.
No.
Merton measured it in 1754 at 81 to 82 million miles away. Encke, 95,274,000. Meyer, 104 million. R. Ball, 9293. So do you see why that's not science and why those aren't exact measurements?
Look what my dog did. Chewed him up.
Oh, no.
While sitting there. All right, all that's garbage. All right,
oh,
you naughty
poor baby.
Dog. Naughty puppy.
That dog's like, I want to say, he wants to save you from...
Here's what used to be my earbud. All right.
Okay, let me read you something. Universal gravity is a theory, not a fact, regarding the natural law of attraction. This material should be approached with an open mind, studied carefully and critically considered. The universal theory of gravity is often taught in schools as a fact, when in fact it's not even a good theory.
You didn't read the first line. Read the first line.
Universal gravity is a theory, not a fact.
Actually, click on it. Click on the link. This is the National Center for Science Education, right?
No, that one's different. I know I quote that to a lot of people. This one's different. This one says, why is gravity a scientific law? Is gravity a subject of a scientific law? Is gravity still a theory? So there's 3 items on this, and this is from How Did Gravity Become a Law? Newton discovered the relationship between the motion of the moon and the motion of the body falling.
Right, so your citation says that gravity is a law.
Yeah, but it's not a law.
But it is.
Well, you can call it a law, but
it is a law.
You can't even prove it's real.
Yeah, you can.
Well, what does Neil deGrasse Tyson say when you ask him what gravity is?
He says gravity is definitely a force. He will say that.
He says we don't know what it is.
Yeah, you don't know how laws work? You don't need to. A law is a mathematical description of something that happens and has not been falsified. Gravity's not been falsified. The reason for why it works is not necessarily known. So why does Snell's law work? Right? Why does refraction work? You don't need to know why Snell's law works in order to know that refraction works and be able to apply the formula for Snell's law. Same thing for gravity. So not understanding the full mechanism, that's what science explores. So do you know that the theory of electromagnetism is a theory and the full details of everything about it are not fully known? Exactly the same as gravity. Everything in science is not yet fully known. That's the frontiers of science. So you've discovered that there is a frontier of science in relation to gravity. Whoop-de-doo, we knew that. That's what science does. It explores things. Now, does it actually definitely exist, and does matter attract mass? Yes, it completely does. And that's empirically confirmed and never been falsified. And again, falsification, Popper, read it. I said Team Skeptic. Is he in the chat? I said his name. Hold on. I'm looking. I saw somebody mention him. Team Skeptic. Is he here? Is he actually here? There he is. I said your name because I talked about going to the 2019 Flat Earth Global Convention in Dallas, and you show up. Amazing. All right. Manny Karen says, I checked Al's horoscope. Turns out his bad academia preserves fantasy to reality. It's astrology. It's science, people. So astrology is science, right?
It is to some people.
To you?
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent. You could accept astrology?
In some cases I can.
Really? Ooh.
I can accept extrasensory perception in some cases.
That's not astrology. All right. Steve6464 says, does Professor Clinkerfuse live by Lake Titicaca? You think he does?
Who says this?
That was asked by Steve6464.
Never heard of the guy.
Professor Clinkerfuse?
Never heard of the guy.
George Biddle Airy wrote about Professor Clinkerfuse in the publication you didn't read.
Right, just from you.
Just from me. Yeah, you should have read it before you cited it. 10 years. What? 10 years. All right. PhD Tony says, if the sun is not 140 million kilometers away, why do solar storms take 3 days to get to Earth after the corresponding mass ejections are observed optically? Anything for that, Al?
Oh, no, I thought you were just reading these questions.
Yeah, it's a question. It's a question from PhD Tony. So it's a good one. It's a good one. I haven't even considered this before. We can look at the sun and you can see coronal mass ejections happen. And then 3 days later, a solar storm is measured on Earth. So why does it take 3 days if it's only a couple thousand miles over the Earth, according to you?
That's a good question.
Matt Klein wonders, how does a posi track on a Plymouth work? Do you know that?
How does posi work?
How does a posi track work on a Plymouth?
It makes both rear wheels spin.
But how?
At the same time.
Yeah, how?
Hooked to a fixed axle, I believe, right?
Probably. I've rebuilt a differential. It wasn't a posi. It was a Dana 35. In the rear end.
What does this have to do with?
I don't know, but Matt Klein was wondering. I don't know why. All right, well, PhD Tony, I don't think we're going to get an answer to that one. Gary Wenbenga says, cow trivia. The sun is 81,840,000,000 cow units away. Al, do you know that the metric system, you got the imperial units that we use here in America. You know what they use in Scotland?
What's that?
They use sheep units. All of their measurements in the Scottish sheep unit system are derived from sheep. So you've got,
and I think most of the measurements people use in the world are derived from sheep too, like the ones you guys are using.
Someday in the future, Scottish sheep units will take over, and the metric system can be laid to rest. All right, YK Mookhouse says, I took shrooms and felt Earth move around the sun.
Yeah, the only way you feel Earth moving is when you're drunk.
Yeah, you're not actually feeling Earth move when you're drunk. That's your vestibular system being confused. Luke Filewalker says, Flurfs be like, I don't want to hear your evidence. Let's move on.
Where's the centrifugal force from these direction changes? And we haven't even discussed the Earth tilting. How come in the wintertime we have way less sunlight than in the summertime in the northern hemisphere? We would have a uniform 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. If
Why
we were on
would
a
you
uniform
think that?
ball.
Why would you think that? That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Yes. That's ridiculous. Oh, all right.
And when we're on the other side of the sun, why are the same constellations in the sky?
We don't see the same constellations. The equatorial constellations that were in the center of the sky in the middle of the night
all year round.
Yeah, you don't see the equatorial constellations 6 months later because they're up during daytime, which you can't see. So that's an easy one. But the polar ones you do see because you should see them on a Earth rotating and orbiting the sun. It's all, you can just look it up in VSOP 87 and see how that works.
Oh, how fast do you think the North Pole's moving?
How fast do I think the North Pole is moving? I don't think. What do you mean, the North Magnetic Pole, the North Geometric Pole, the Celestial North Pole?
Any of them. How fast do you think it's moving?
Well, the North Magnetic Pole is moving a few kilometers a year, if I remember correctly. The North Celestial Pole is above the North Geometric Pole, and yeah, that is relatively not moving, and they're pretty close to each other. But the entirety of the Earth's axis does have a precession that's many thousands of years. Is that what you're getting to?
No, I'm asking you just the North Pole. How fast is it moving with the Earth, in your opinion? Or
so that's a malformed question. So
in the false science that you believe,
it's a malformed question. So
and how's that?
Because it's not the question doesn't make sense.
If we're moving 1,038 at the equator, how fast does the North Pole move?
It there is no linear speed at the actual geometric North Pole because.
And how fast is Polaris moving?
I don't know offhand, but fast.
I mean, don't you think that's pretty ridiculous claim?
No, it's been measured. Anyway, Creed Bull says the power of nuh-uh is strong in this one. Eddie Reese says, let's move on. Count 6. FE evidence 0. That was over an hour ago.
Well, that guy's an idiot.
Sergeant Rock. Sorry, Eddie. I hope you get better soon from that. Sergeant Rock says the great attractor is what I call my junk. It got dark there. What happened?
Hey, that's about what it is. Oh, I stepped outside.
Oh, all right. So you can have a smoke?
Of course.
Okay.
I'm smoking Al, remember?
Yeah. I figured you probably had that. Are you remember that stuff that the kid blew in my face in shop class? Is that what you're yeah?
Oh no, I'm smoking some government sponsored chemicals here.
Oh good. Okay. Excellent. Keep it up. Toad in my eyes says he definitely did his research, i.e. listen to flirts that have been debunked over and over ad nauseum. Yes.
But I haven't been debunked because you still can't produce a mechanical device to measure the 67,000. You can't measure the 500,000.
But you didn't produce a mechanical instrument to measure the non-movement of the Earth.
Yeah, but the burden.
So by your own standard, you didn't do anything.
The burden's on you. It doesn't take much more than common sense to realize you're not moving.
But except I showed the measurement of it. I totally satisfied the burden. Anyway, I'm looking outside. I don't see the stars. Do they not exist?
Well,
do you see the stars?
Sometimes on cloudy days, I don't see the sun.
But do you see the stars right now?
Yes, I do.
I don't see them. They must not exist. You see the problem with that? Photography isn't your strength. Fa of the Q-Tube family says, drinking game, take a shot every time Al says, let's move on. Now, I need to have a public service announcement right now. There is such thing as alcohol poisoning. Please do not partake in such games.
Alcohol poisoning?
Yeah. Anyway, Todd Burt says that that contented tone in Toon's voice when playing with his flurf food. Dude, you fell into every trap. Everyone. Graybeard says these guys should be given a nuh-uh quota. If you use up your quota, you lose the debate. That'd be good.
Well, hold on though. Well, then that means you lost at Sagnet, Gale, Michelson, Morley, the Bedford level.
No, I
like,
completely
"Nuh-uh,
concur
that's
with.
falsified."
I completely concur with the conclusions.
You do.
Yes. Yeah, I
So-
agree. I agree with the conclusions of those experiments.
And the conclusions of Airy's failure are
That
The
Professor
stars
Klinkerfuse's
move.
hypothesis was wrong.
the stars move and the telescope is stationary.
No, that had nothing to do with the Klinkerfuse. You got to go read it, man. Go read it. You're talking about
That's the
stuff you didn't
conclusion of
read,
Airy's
and
failure, man. Just because you don't understand it.
I do understand it. You didn't even read it. I have read it. You have
Oh.
not. I should get Klinkerfuse's thing, his pamphlet, up on my website so people can look at it. I've read it, but it's not on my website. Anyway, Eddie Reese says he's got another flurf in the wings feeding him flurfy answers. 10 years? Really? Let's be serious. I mean, you can't have been flurfing around for 10 years. Yeah, show the details of that.
How about those photographs?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Is that Chicago on the top there?
That is Cedar Point.
Oh yeah, Cedar Point across Lake Michigan. Now, the problem with that is that Cedar Point is flooded, right?
Chicago's across Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Is it under like 50 feet of water?
What do you mean?
It's definitely underwater there. You got a problem.
It should be not visible. None of it
Wrong.
should be
Wrong.
visible.
But definitely if the earth were flat, you should see all of it. And you don't see all of it. Therefore,
That's
it's
not
flooded,
true.
right?
No, that's not true. How do you figure that? You think air is transparent?
Oh my gosh. This isn't even Flurf 101. This is remedial Flurf again. Oh
You
my
don't think
gosh.
there's pollution in the air?
If there's pollution in the air, you'd see a band of blur. You wouldn't see
That is what you
water
see.
than
That is what you
buildings. You'd see
that water
a
is
band of
moving
blur
up
in
and down.
between. If it's pollution, yeah, you wouldn't see, it'd just be a nothingness there, but that vertical space would still exist. A Team Skeptic says,
Absolutely.
does it confuse you
Fall.
when drops fall sideways when you drive in the rain?
Oh
Al?
yeah, I'm real confused by it.
Thought so. Clara Microraptor says for 56, says, I sat by the ocean and did an experiment, baby, to debunk you. Thanks, Clara. Dominic Diensenthuber. Hold on. Diensenthuber. Dominic Diensenthuber. I'm if that's German, I might be getting it correct. Yeah, we see it. We see it, Al. We got it. We got it, buddy. Says Polly want a cracker? Lael says incorrect tune. The globe Earth was made 4.5 billion years ago, according to science. It's true. Oh no, Chicago's flooded. Help! Send the Coast Guard to save all the people drowning under 50 feet of water.
That's
I mean,
hilarious.
I've driven in Chicago there. I mean, Lakeshore Drive is completely flooded by that. Plastic Citizen is a new member at Einstein. Thank you for that. Oh yeah, the memes. You got the memes. No, but you don't. None of these match your particular standard of evidence.
Hold on,
You
though.
didn't take them yourself.
What scares you guys about pictures with words?
Because do you know that memes are the mating call of the indoctrinated?
Do any of these pictures look real to you?
I don't know. Send the originals and we'll look at them. That's the problem with memes is they generally don't cite their sources. And they don't give you an opportunity to actually go and investigate the source to it. So it's Gondolini's law again, where it's just crap, and a large number of Flurf memes are just lies actually. Yeah, and so what's the problem with the SR-71 Blackbird? Nothing is wrong with it. It's Flurfs don't understand. That's a you problem. That's not actually a science problem. So Stringer News 1 says, I'm a stupid idiot and I like to kiss my own butt, said Nikola Tesla. So there. Tesla debunked by empirical evidence. Did you know that he said that?
Tesla debunked.
Yeah, Tesla said, I'm a stupid idiot and I like to kiss my own butt. That's what he said. Did you know that?
According to who?
Well, according to Stringer News 1. You see, you cited something and claimed it was from Tesla, but it wasn't. Because you are easily indoctrinated and you believe all memes that support your pre-selected conclusion. It's a mental problem. It really is.
You were there when the government went in there and took all of his stuff.
If you're going to assert that he had some particular things in there, then you're going to need to show it instead of just, well, something maybe could have been in there, but I don't know what it was.
I like this one, the rail gun.
But it doesn't shoot perfectly straight. You see, that's another lie. Why do you feel it's appropriate to lie?
Oh my God.
It doesn't shoot perfectly straight. It's a parabolic path. Do you know that? It's a parabolic path. Look it up. Brandolini's law again. Yeah. What is the metric for determining if they're real or not?
Images.
Yeah, so you have asserted without showing the forensic evidence. Show the forensic evidence. See, this is the problem with flat earthers. You're super gullible. You look at a meme, you're like, that's true because it matches my pre-selected conclusion. That's all you have.
Because that's what they're putting out.
That's all you have. All right, Diego Marangoni says, MC Toon Live, I can finally watch live. Yeah, that destroys flat earth. Silly rabbit. I live in Germany and the time zone doesn't help much, but now in vacation in Brazil. Greetings from E.T. Bilu. Bilu says, hello, Diego. I hope you go find Bilu in the jungle. Thank you for that. PhD Tony says, Earth's motion is distinct from Earth's shape. We can indeed determine Earth's shape using mechanical instruments, particularly seismometers. Did you know that we can determine Earth's shape that way?
No.
Indeed we can. Toad in my eyes says, Earth ain't flat, it's a Mobius strip. All right. Eddie Reese says, Toon doesn't smoke, but FDFE does, and he will still tear your Flurf assertions to shreds. Yeah, sometimes, man, FDFE is... But yeah, he's still... Anyway, King Cruz says, MC Toon, when will you deliver my book? I was in Florida. You didn't come pick it up. Here it is. Look at this. Have you seen this book? I could read it to you. It might work. I'm gonna send it to King Crew, but I still haven't. I have to. And I need to send a full can of Tab to Switzerland. All right. M2M says, what are the internal angles of a triangle with sides 1, 1, and 1? Do you know that?
Say that again.
So if you have a triangle with sides 1, 1, and 1, what are the internal angles?
I have no idea.
I believe you. Kyle says, I thought the definition of level was a poorly executed mockumentary about cartoons. It is. There have been 2, and the third one is coming soon. Freelance Minion says Smokin out claims he's going to bring absolute proofs of flat stationary Earth and only proves Nikola
I
Tesla
didn't
was not
claim
perfect.
that. I claim that you don't have any mechanical devices that can prove all the motions and speeds of the Earth, as I did on the Flat Earth debate site.
Yeah.
That's what I
But
claim.
why does it have to be mechanical for everything when
Well,
you
because
don't have the
digital
same thing for yourself?
Digital can be manipulated.
But why does it have to be mechanical? It could be something other than mechanical, and also not digital.
Mechanical can't be manipulated.
Well, I'm glad you agree. I showed a mechanical device that measured the rotation of the Earth.
That thing looked like it was standing still to me in that old picture.
It was a photograph. In photographs, you can't see motion. Did you not know that? Is this a new thing for you?
Fail. That is a big fail.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. The denialism doesn't win. Denialism is an instant loss. But
That's
all right.
what you're doing. You're in denial.
All right. You have Vadim is wondering. All right. You have a triangle. How many sides does it have?
Okay, can we do another one of these on the COVID vaxes?
No. I don't talk about that. YouTube doesn't like it. They.
Okay.
But if you want to do it, I mean, there's a guy, but I mean, you're way. He's so far out of your league. Who debunked the funk with Dr. Wilson. That guy is super good.
What about 9/11?
Yeah, I mean that's such old news. I don't trouble myself with that. Mute Donkey's wondering how your back is. Is your back okay?
My back.
Yeah, with all the goalposts moving.
It's kind of hurting from carrying you around.
Sure. Oh, okay. Luke Filewalker says some snake oil salesman once claimed that a woman's uterus would fly out in the early days of trains because of the ludicrous speed in comparison to horse-drawn carts. I have heard of that. True or not, I don't know, but I've heard of it before.
Oh, they will fall out if females lift too heavy of weight, and I'm talking biological females.
If they lift too heavy of a weight, the uterus will fall out. What the hell are you talking about?
It'll fall down. It can fall down.
Charlie Welch says the American PJC net has finally been found. You should get together with PJC net. You and PJ against me. That'd be good.
Okay.
RT96 says got a Greta to globe. Hey, Greta was super happy. He was really excited.
Hey, that call that you made or that you took earlier, was that your wife?
No, I made a phone call to Greta to let her know that the sea turtles were safe because there's no straws left.
Okay.
Yeah. Lord Illuminous Pooh says nope, nuh-uh, wash, rinse, and repeat. And Just a Messenger says got a double standard to flirt. Absolutely. And I don't know why our Industrial Nerd said that's what many Karens said. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's referencing. Anyway, Cretin Ball, I'm almost done here. I'm almost done. We can wrap up. Cretin Ball says, this guy's playing all the Flurf greatest hits. A true tour de force. Here's one. The gas pressure can't exist next to a vacuum. You didn't say that one yet. Away from putting the cherry on top of his performance here. Over to you.
I do have a question from a viewer.
Okay.
Where'd it go? Oh boy, I'm inundated with questions.
You should these people messaging you, have them message me and we'll set up. They can come, they're invited. They're invited to come on here.
I did have a question here about the pressure.
All
Yeah,
right.
how do we, it was something like, how do we have pressure? Here it is. I gotta edit it because it's not really appropriate. This guy is
Yeah.
how is space a vacuum and we have air pressure without a barrier of some sort?
Oh, there you go.
That was me taking out a lot of stuff.
Yeah. All right. So here's how that's not what we claim. So what we claim and what we measure is that there is positive pressure everywhere, that the pressure near the surface is higher than the pressure at 1 foot above the surface or 1 meter above the surface or 1 kilometer above the surface. It continually goes down at 100,000 to 120,000 feet. The pressure is 1%, about, if I remember correctly, about 1% of what it is at the ground. And so already you've gotten, basically there's super small amount of pressure there. Anyway, and then you just keep decreasing as you go all the way up. So there is no pressure next to not pressure. It's all pressure. It's a gradient. You can confirm it with a barometer on your phone. Do you have a
And how would that pressure not escape into a vacuum?
Yeah, gravity holds it in. Yeah, but again, like I said, it's not a perfect vacuum.
Gravity
It's
again. Gravity
positive.
again.
It's positive.
If when you guys don't have an answer, the excuse is, well, it's gravity.
It's not an excuse. Gravity is empirically confirmed. It's a physical law.
Is there an upside down and a side of a ball?
On a ball, yes. So down is towards I'll explain it. You asked a question, I'll give you the answer. Down is towards the center. Up is away from the center.
Of a ball.
Of a sphere. Of a globe. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. It's not that hard.
Is a bunch of nonsense.
It's not that hard to understand.
It's a bunch of nonsense. It's just a word salad. You're spewing words.
I'll circle incredulity here.
Do you think if you dug a hole through the earth and you jumped in head first, that you're going to come up on the bottom of the earth, the bottom of the ball, right side up, and not know you're upside down?
Well, there's no bottom. You'd come out on the opposite side.
There's no bottom on a ball. Huh?
No, there's no bottom. No. Down is towards the center. Up is away from the center. So there's no such thing as a top or bottom on a globe. Right now, there's no question about this. This is just how that works. And there's how flat Earth would be, right? Up would be a certain direction, down would be a certain direction. So there's not a question about how the geometry or if any of that would work. So yes,
there's a big question.
So yes, other than the significant challenges of digging a hole through the entirety of the Earth, plus the challenges of the Earth rotating while you're in it, so that tube couldn't be straight. It'd have to curve in order. Anyway. Other than those things, if you jumped in feet first, you'd come out the other side feet first.
If you dove in head first, you'd come out the other side feet first?
No, if you dove in head first, you'd come out head first. If you dove in feet first, you'd come out feet first.
But you would be right side up.
It's not hard to understand. Yeah, it's not difficult.
But you'd be right side up.
If you went in head first, then once you got to the other side and you popped out the other side, yes, you would. Your head and feet would be oriented as we normally are when we're walking
and
around.
You wouldn't know you were upside down because of gravity. Now, once you got past the supposed core, would you then feel like you were right side up at that time? So you'd be upside down halfway.
Yeah. So while you're right at the middle, then the entirety of the Earth would be in all directions around you. And so essentially you're at the inside of a Dyson sphere. So there's essentially all of the mass attracting mass of the Earth neutralizes itself because you have as much mass on that side as you do on that side. So
and where does mass attract mass other than the Cavendish experiment?
Everywhere in the universe.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? How come these 14,000 foot mountains behind me aren't attracting this bottle?
They are.
No, they're not.
They are, but it's very small.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I can leave it here till tomorrow and it's not going to move.
Like I said, it's very small. You can actually do that, and you can measure it. And people use pendulums on mountains to measure the actual gravitational force of that mountain on the pendulum. It's I don't often bring it up, but yeah, people do use pendulums to do that. It is an empirical measurement that's possible.
Nonsense.
Sorry, that's not actually a refutation.
Mass attracting mass is nonsense.
Mass attracting mass is an empirically confirmed law of nature that has never been falsified, and saying nonsense doesn't falsify it. You would actually need to go out, like I said before, Popper.
Proof is the Cavendish experiment, which
you would need to actually go and test it and show the falsification of it. The door is open. Go ahead and show the falsification of gravity, but saying nonsense is not a falsification of gravity.
Okay, how come a piece of dust isn't attracted to those mountains?
It is.
Really?
But it's also attracted to lots of other things. You do know that multiple forces can act simultaneously on an object, don't you?
I would agree with that.
Excellent. Okay. So
Except
what you'd want to do is you'd want to sum all of the forces acting on that piece of dust.
I would disagree with mass attracting mass.
I don't care. Disagreeing with it is not a refutation.
Well,
you would need to show the empirical falsification
fine.
of it.
Hold on. But we can observe it doesn't happen, which is science.
How? Where?
Stand and look at a mountain and see if anything's getting pulled towards it.
Like I said, you can actually empirically measure that with a pendulum.
I don't believe you.
I don't care. Again, okay. I don't believe you is not a refutation. On my website, mctoon.net/G, I have an experiment empirically measuring the force of gravity near a mountain in Scotland. You can go read it. You can go critique their methodologies and see if they were done wrong or not. And then you can go out, and since you're so close to some mountains, you can go and reproduce that experiment and falsify it or not, right? Go and do the experiment. But nonsense isn't a falsification of anything.
It is nonsense because
so you've said with zero evidence.
And Mount Everest is the biggest mass of mountain in the world. Nothing. Why aren't the houses that are in Nepal getting pulled to the base of Mount Everest?
Oh my gosh.
Why is that?
This is the stupidest question I've ever been asked, Al. I don't know how many hundred of these I've done, but that has got to be the dumbest one.
Okay, nothing is getting pulled towards that mountain.
It's got to be. PhD Tony says mass attracting mass is used practically to detect subsurface mineral deposits, to map the ocean floor, and to passively navigate submarines. Now, PhD Tony doesn't just say that. PhD Tony's job is to use gravity to detect subsurface mineral deposits. That's what he does.
Submarines wouldn't work on a spinning ball.
So have you said, in complete misunderstanding of things, but I was talking about PhD Tony's actual job where he actually uses gravity, the measurements of gravity, to detect subsurface mineral deposits. Companies pay him money to find mineral deposits under the surface of the earth, and he uses gravity to do it. If it didn't work, he would not get paid. I don't believe it is not a refutation.
Do you think it could be another force and not gravity?
Go ahead, show the hypothesis, test it, go through all of the things to test whether or not the another force is doing that. What's the name of this another force? How does this another force work? What is the mechanism behind this another force? You tried to handwave dismiss gravity because it's only a theory, as you said, but you don't even have a replacement for it that you can even think of.
Here's a question for you.
Just beating you around. I should feel bad.
Here's a question from a viewer. space is a vacuum and Earth has an atmosphere. So we aren't a vacuum, correct?
I already covered this.
Okay. So it is due to gravity in our atmosphere that protects us from space. Where does the gravity stop?
Gravity doesn't stop anywhere.
It doesn't stop.
All matter in the universe is attracted to all other matter in the universe as a product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of their distance. So if they're far away,
And if that was true, then the moon would be pulled into the Earth.
No.
All the planets would be pulled into the sun.
No, not at all. Not at all.
How's that?
Your misunderstanding of
who?
Kepler's laws is not falsification. Sorry, you need to actually show how that would work and show what's wrong about it. You just don't understand it. I get that. It's complicated, but your misunderstanding of it isn't a falsification. You have to actually do some work instead of just saying it would happen this way in your ignorance of how things actually happen.
Well, it would happen.
Well,
Just
it
like
would.
you're saying,
Well, it would
there's no
because
side
I
for-
said it would. Because I don't
there's no
understand it.
bottom
I
on
don't
a
care,
ball.
Al. You don't understand
Okay.
these things. You didn't bring any analysis to it. Bring the mass
there's
of the
no-
Earth, the mass of the sun, apply Kepler's laws, and show where it wouldn't work. You didn't do that.
Is there a top or a bottom to this bottle?
We can arbitrarily define a top or bottom.
Okay, but what if I told you there is no top or bottom or
Okay,
sides to this
I-
bottle?
Sure, you
don't
lay,
think
lay it
that's
on its
just
side.
as ridiculous as saying
Lay it on
there's
its
not
side. Who
one
do this?
that's
Lay it on its side.
bottom?
Put some dirt in it. Make a terrarium, and now the top is in a different place. So what? We choose to
But
give it a
hold
name.
on. But it wouldn't be on a spinning ball with gravity. The
Why?
top would always be the top, right?
No, we have arbitrarily determined the top of that bottle to be the top of that bottle.
Well, but we can arbitrarily determine where the top of a ball is and where the bottom of a ball is too.
You could, but on the globe we don't do that.
I know because there is no globe.
But now sometimes people say, well, you can consider it to be that the place that you are is the top because that's what the orientation seems appropriate to you, but that's just relative to the observer.
Have you heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say Earth is pear-shaped?
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Then why are all the pictures that they show perfectly round?
How much pear-shaped did he say?
Oh, he didn't say, but pear-shaped is pear-shaped.
It is. He's not talking about an actual Bartlett pear. What he was
you
talking
can
about? Let me clarify
you can
because
measure their
this is
pictures with a
this is your meme logic, right? The Earth is I think 24 kilometers wider at if I remember right. Don't quote me, it might be a little bit off. About 24 kilometers wider at the equator than at the poles. Right?
And
just a little bit.
then
So when you
if
look
you-
at the
why if you
6,371
run the
radius,
compass
hold
around
on,
their picture,
the
it's the
6,371
perfect
kilometer radius of the Earth at 24 kilometers is very small. So the amount of bulge at the equator is very small in comparison to the entirety of the Earth. But if you were to actually measure it in some of the really good photographs, you will find that it's a few pixels different. So you go ahead and do that. But your eyes, like we covered before, your eyes aren't good measurers of angles. They're also not good measurers of small differences in size vertically or horizontally.
Those pictures are circles drawn with compasses.
So you have asserted with no evidence. Again, let me remind you, this book, page 22, says those who assert must prove. You said it was drawn with a compass. What was the name of the person that drew it with a compass?
You haven't proven that we're spinning. You haven't proven. Hold on. You haven't proven that we're moving 66,000
demolished
miles
you and all these things. Absolutely, I did. You
No,
just said
really
nuh-uh.
didn't.
That's all you
That's
did.
just in your mind.
All you did is say nuh-uh. I backed up all of my stuff with empirical measurements. You backed it up with nuh-uh. It's an embarrassment for you, Al. But I'd be glad
really
to do
not.
it again. But let me finish a couple of these here. Let's see. Graybeard says, Al, your Lord in heaven isn't going to help you out here. Chris Curtis, Flat Earth. He must be one of the people messaging you. Is he? Chris Curtis?
Never heard of them.
He says, here, all right, you should talk to Chris. He's a nice guy. Here's a question to think about. If Neil Armstrong said he did not see stars all the way to the moon because of the sun, would we see stars anywhere in space besides the shadow of a planet? In fact, the astronauts did see the stars. They used sextants to navigate from the inside of the actual Apollo capsule. So they did see the stars.
Navigate from a Hollywood basement back to their studio.
No, they actually navigated from inside the capsule on the way to the moon.
Sure.
So
and you never answered the question: how come China is not sending one of their citizen slaves up to the moon with an iPhone?
Maybe they will, and when they do, you will meet that with no doubt.
Well, why? Hold on though. Why don't you think they have done that yet? Since we did it, 55 years ago?
Yeah. Well, why haven't they done it yet? Well, they're working on it. To my knowledge, they're working on it. So things take time. You don't just say, "Hey, we're going to go to the moon," and then you build a spaceship and jump in it tomorrow. It takes time to do things. Mm-hmm. And when you send stuff that far away in that particular environment, you need to make sure that all of the things that you do are designed very well, because you don't want people dying there. It's a little
come on, man.
Embarrassing.
You know that's a crock of BS.
No, not at all.
You know it's a crock of BS.
As an engineer, I know that when you do things, you need to test them and make sure they're going to work.
Look, if it was
I don't do a new software build without testing it first.
They'd be there if it was possible to go there.
Why? Why have you asserted that? Again, let me remind you, page 22 of this book says those who assert must prove.
You think the Chinese government's like, oh, well, fat, dumb Americans did this 55 years ago, and now with our current technology, we're not going to go check it out?
To my knowledge, amazing. They are working on it.
Well, so, they're a little late, huh?
Yes, we totally whipped their butts. They weren't even trying at the time.
Oh,
it was a bit closer between us and Russia, but they gave up in the end.
So you'll believe anything that you're told?
There's tons of empirical evidence that we went to the moon, including 15,000 photographs taken on film and developed in a darkroom.
Fake.
And all, so you've said without evidence, and all available for you to go and bring a forensics photo expert to the museum in Houston to support your assertion that they are fake. But you won't do that. Nobody will ever do that. Nobody ever does an actual forensic analysis on the original photographs or on the high resolution scans of them, because they know it fails every time.
Have you heard Buzz Aldrin tell the little girl that we didn't really go to the moon?
Boy, cherry picking is lying, Al.
Cherry picking
is lying. So her question is, why did we not go back? He said, because we didn't. We didn't go back. Hold on. It was political. That was why we didn't go back.
He said because we didn't go there. And if something didn't happen, it's important to know why it didn't happen.
Why? And her question was, you lying flat earth scum, why did we not go back? She asked, why did we not go back? So don't misquote him, you lying scum.
Hold on.
You filthy lying scum. Why are you misquoting him? Cherry picking is lying. Cherry picking is lying.
No, you're
cherry picking is lying. Hey, why are you lying? Why do you think that it's appropriate to lie? All these flat earthers think that you're truthers. You're not truthers. You're liars. Every one of you. You serial pathological liars. It's disgusting.
I just quoted exactly what his answer was. It's disgusting
that you can't. You call yourselves truthers, but you hate truth so much.
Oh my God, dude!
So much you hate truth. Justin Messenger says people fall toward the ground, not off the earth. Another flurf who has issues with up and down.
I like how you're
all right, Al, stop your lies. Stop your lies, Al.
Hold on, I like how you're running from this one.
Syndicate J says to notice 1 degree of curve, you'd have to travel exactly 69.66 miles, Al. Exactly. Lord Illuminous Pooh says measurements got more accurate with better tools. They certainly did. And it wasn't until there's a specific one where like this one was a good measurement. The other ones they knew were not good measurements of the distance to the sun. So Gridhog says, Al did all right for a flurf. Still 0 points, though.
Question from little girl.
Many Karen says, oh, it scrolled off the screen here. It says, germs causing disease is just a theory. Oxygen being required for combustion is just a theory. Go learn what a theory is, ignoramus. Chronic Avenger says, mechanical device, gyroscopic compass. Without the spin of the Earth, it would not point north. In fact, I toured the USS Alabama a couple of weeks ago, and I got a picture of the gyro compass inside the ship. And then I toured the USS Drum, which is a submarine, which is right next to the USS Alabama. It's a World War II era submarine. It also has a gyro compass in it. Both of them use the rotation of the Earth to determine north and south. Without the rotation of the Earth, the gyro compass would not work. It completely demolishes the idea that the Earth is stationary. They could not work. The military doesn't give a damn about anything other than winning battles. At least they shouldn't, right? And in World War II, that's it. They're like, we got to win. So Tim Pryor says, don't get me off on the theory of music, even though there is music. The theory of music, the theory of electromagnetism. I think I have the book. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Look at this. Foundations of electromagnetic theory. Is electromagnetism just a theory? If, according to Flurfs, if electromagnetism is just a theory, then electric motors wouldn't work.
Go in there.
Listen to her question. Play her question. Play her question, liar. Play her question. He's answering her question. Yep. Play the very specific question she's asking.
Curiosity.
Come on. You won't do it. You won't play her question, will you?
Oh, I'm going to. Here we go. Her question is, why has nobody been to the moon?
No, I want to hear her voice. I want to hear her voice, not you say it. Come on.
Hang on.
Hanging.
You're definitely low-hanging fruit.
You had it. Come on, buddy. Let's hear her question.
I had it. Hold on. It's not playing. Let me tell you what his answer was, because we never really went there. And when something
Why
didn't...
are you lying? Why do you have to lie? Why do you think it's acceptable? Why do you think it's acceptable to lie? It's disgusting that flat earthers think that they are all about the truth and all they do is lie. It's so gross. So
Hold
gross.
on, let me find it.
She asked, why did we not go back? And he's answering that very specific question. Because why are you lying about him? He does not say that. Cherry picking is lying. Disgusting. Filthy disgusting. Why are you so lying? Why do you think it's acceptable to lie to support your stupid religion? Your stupid flurf cult religion is gross.
Hold on.
It's gross. Nah. Piss off. Piss off. Flurf citation. Gravity is a law. Flurf, gravity isn't a law. Great to see Toon's first law of Flurf in action. Absolutely. By the way, ask Al if water in his spirit level is flat. Of course it's not. It's usually methanol. Or methyl alcohol. Indie Tiger Sci-Fi Review says, when you're drunk, gravity increases. That's a fact. True. Chronic Avenger says, have him point his camera to the sky so we can count the visible stars. Of course not. Flurfs don't understand photography. It's an almost absolute fact. It's not completely accurate, so it can't be a law of Flurf, because some do understand it and they don't make those claims. Then PG Tony says the current rate of true polar wander, that's the motion of the Earth's pole of rotation, is measured to be about 21 centimeters per year. Thanks for that, Tony. Ableist. Al, do you look exactly the same in every picture ever taken? And Flurfs don't understand that. They think that every single camera is identical. They think that every single distance is the same. Yeah, they must, because every single picture of the Earth they think must be absolutely identical. But again, it's the disgusting lying that flat earthers have to do. It's just gross. Glober Mom says, memes, the flat earth evidence of choice. Yes, is not evidence, but.
Okay, you ready?
Easy.
Hey, are you ready?
I want to hear her voice ask the question.
Okay, here we go. And listen to the answer.
That's not.
All right, you didn't play her question. Why did you not play her question?
But that doesn't mean I like to see the fish. Long time.
It's coming.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
I didn't even hear it.
Hold on.
That's not.
All right, I didn't hear her question. Thank you for not playing her question. You won't play it. You don't want people to hear it. All right. Snackable Tomato says, Earth's a giant tomato. Prove me wrong. All right. I'm not going to support your lies. I'm not going to support your cherry picking lies. Toads in my eyes says, I have perfect proof to debunk the flurf. Nuh-uh. That's all you got. All you have is denialism.
This buzz.
Graham Price says, yeah, but nuh-uh. Let's move on. Absolutely. Tim Pryor says, tell him to point north, then point up, and ask if it's the same direction. Hey, Al, point north. Point north.
Hold on.
You can't. They never want to do this. They don't like it. Tim Pryor says, with these guys, you literally have to say up is toward the sky, is down is toward the ground, or they won't get it. Absolutely. PhD Tony's mass attracting masses is used to predict the subsurface mineral deposits. Super chat. Thank you for that. 2D ResQ explains stuff says, dude, a D35? Real men start at D44 HD. Well, yes. It's the stock. It was the stock differential in the Jeep.
Hey, Mike.
Hold on. I'm talking about the Jeep differential that I rebuilt. So yeah, just a second.
I know you are, because you don't want me to play Buzz Aldrin saying we didn't go.
I don't want you to lie about him. That's correct. I don't want you to lie about it. It's disgusting. I want to hear her question. Her question.
Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. And listen to his answer.
Fun up there. But that doesn't mean I like to see fish. Long time.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time? There you go. He's answering that very specific question. Thank you for confirming the first law of Flurf again. Fa of the QTube family says fee, fi, po, fum. Oh no, this guy is a true believer. This guy is sick. Sick. Loves his lies. PhD Tony says Earth is big force. Mountains are much smaller force. Bottle is much smaller. Still equals much smaller force. Gary Little says, Al, do you realize the radio beacon navigation as we use it would not work on your flat Earth at all? Of course it would not. And Just Messenger says, page 22, page 22, page 22. What's the page 22, Just Messenger? I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Mike.
Dude, I'm not listening to you. Your lies are disgusting. Cherry picking is gross. It shows how desperate you are. It shows that you are a failure. You have exactly nothing, and so all you have is to cherry pick and misinterpret somebody else's words that aren't what you are. They are not. I've heard it before, and I know the question. Why did we not go back in such a long time? That's the question. His answer is because we didn't go back in such a long time. There's nothing difficult about that, but you have a religion, you have a cult that you must follow, and your cult says that everything supports your stupid cult religion.
Hey, do you want
So you're happy to lie to support your stupid cult religion. It's gross. Janos Tacos says about 4 pages left. Need some checking and fixing. Let's talk about how you want to visualize. Oh, good idea. Good idea. Dude, I demolished you over and over and over tonight. Over and over and over. You have been absolutely humiliated, Al. You made claims and claims and had zero evidence to support it. It's been very bad for you.
Boy, you don't want to listen
You
to
fell
this
into
answer, dude.
every one of my traps. Then you get desperate and you have to lie about what Buzz Aldrin said because you're so desperate. You have zero evidence to support it.
Here it is.
She asked, why did we not go back in such a long time?
Listen to the
And his answer is specifically addressing that point. Why?
Listen to it.
Why do you have to lie about this? It's so gross.
He just said we didn't go there.
Matt Klein, yes. The question about the Positrack in Plymouth came from the movie Joe Dirt. The answer is it just does. That's about what he said, isn't it? It's about the depth of it. Oh, yes, page 22. Page 22 is in result, right? So again, your desperation is a bit smelly. I can smell it from here through Zoom.
Hey, Mike,
The reality is yeah. All right. Your desperation is a problem. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. But I do appreciate you waving the white flag and wrapping it up by cherry picking and lying. It really shows the desperation of Flat Earth. So Tim Pryor says, me Flat Earther, me now smarter than billions because I watch YouTube. Exactly. That's it. All right, Al, if you want to do it again, fine, I'll embarrass you again. But topic is Flat Earth or 5G. Those are the two things that I do. So anyway, thanks, Al. You can see yourself out. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Oh my goodness, we've gone for 3 hours. All right, I'm gonna do another one here in a little bit, and maybe we'll find the we'll do another live stream to pop in. So, Al,
Can I ask you a question?
Probably not.
Why won't you shut up and listen to the answer?
I already did, and
No, you
we
didn't.
all know
No, you didn't.
we all know
You're a liar.
that
You're a liar.
you have to
You gotta
cherry
lie.
pick and put words in
You're
his
wrong.
mouth because you don't care for truth.
You won't-
You've spent 3 hours
claim
denying
you're
evidence.
cherry-picking, but you won't
All right,
check your
Al.
facts.
All right. Thanks a lot, Al. See you later. All right. Wow. It's sad. It's sad that an adult. I mean, 3 hours of just nuh-uh to everything. So, all right, let's see what we've got here. He didn't actually expect to see 1 degree of curve. He didn't answer that one, so I don't know if I can do that. He didn't say fisheye. He didn't say see too far. He did not. He wanted to bring up laser tests, but he couldn't. Quote mining and out of context. That right there. That's right there. And of course, moon landing. So, oh yeah, new name for gravity. So when he, Tony, when PhD Tony is like, yeah, he uses gravity to find undersurface minerals. He's like, well, couldn't it be something else? What is that something else? I'm gonna give that a new name for gravity. CGI. He claimed that the 1972 pictures were CGI. He did say, I can't feel it move. Oh, we might get something. He didn't. Oh, he did say see too far. He had all those the Chicago skyline being I love it when they do that. The Chicago skyline being buried underwater and the other ones, like, it doesn't really help your case when you show these distant things that are covered by water and you're like, oh, it's pollution. Well, if it was pollution, you'd see the pollution. But what you don't see is the bottom. Like the vertical space wouldn't go away because of pollution. That vertical space would still be there. If it was just pollution, you just wouldn't see it. Definitely water finds its level. And he talked about NASA, and I thought I got it. Almost. I do. Look at that. I've got bingo right there. Vertical. I've got poorly done flat Earth experiments. Fake incredulity, which is the free space. Dismissing evidence outright, which was really one of his skills. And then another one of his skills, claims without evidence. In fact, that was that and cherry picking. I think those are his two most excelled skills. So anyway, people, thank you. Thank you to Al for volunteering to get demolished again. And it's really sad that it's this weird psychology that I mean, they get into he said the same thing. It's the same come to Jesus story as all of them. I looked into it and I couldn't prove it wrong. Well, easy to prove it wrong. The sun could never set. 5 seconds. The sun could never set if the earth were flat. The ancient cultures that thought the earth were flat thought that the sun at nighttime for them went underneath the ground, like through tunnels under the ground, because they didn't know that nighttime for them was daytime for somebody else. But we know now, once people started traveling, that daytime for you is nighttime for somebody else. And so all of that ancient cosmology stuff had to fall apart at the time because the sun could never set on flat Earth. And he thought it was 3,000 miles high. A 3,000 mile high sun would never be low in the horizon. In fact, the farthest away, if you went to the southern tip of South America on flat Earth, right? The math on this is easy. You could do it with a protractor, draw things to scale. You can do a protractor, no math involved. Or if you did trigonometry, a little bit of, or if you just can solve a triangle on an online triangle solver, you could look, you can say, well, from here, and if the sun was over here, over the Tropic of Capricorn on December 20th, in the middle of the night, this distance here is a certain amount. Not difficult to figure out. It's 60 nautical miles per degree. You've got a certain number of degrees in the North Pole, certain number of degrees to the Tropic of Capricorn. Do the math. You know how far this is directly over the surface of the dirt pizza, right? And then you say it's 3,000 miles in elevation. Then you know the elevation, and I'll give you a hint. It's 10.5 degrees. Middle of the night on December 25th, when the sun is the farthest away on flat Earth from the southern tip of South America. 10 degrees. Everywhere else on Earth, on every single other day of the year for a 3,000 miles high sun on flat Earth, middle of the night, the sun would be higher than 10 degrees above the horizon. That's how easy it is to falsify flat Earth. Simple geometry. Simple geometry. So, Baux 1 says at 38 degrees south, at 38 degrees south, if the sun was at 3,500 miles high, it would be 30 miles across and have an angular size of 6.1 arc minutes at its furthest point on the equinox. Yes, that's another thing. Of course, the angular size of the sun does not change like it must, right? You get a solar filter, you put it on your P1000, they're not that expensive. And you can take a photograph of the sun midday and before sunrise, or after sunrise and before sunset, every day of the year. You won't find that it's varying in size like it must for flat Earth. So, Matt Klein, do I have a link to the debate he was mentioning earlier? So he was talking about two things. He talked briefly about a debate that I had with Jason. Remember Jason the vegan from Mexico? Super rude guy. He sent me a link that was on somebody else's channel, not on my channel, to that one. But I don't think he mentioned it much in this live. But he was talking about the Flat Earth debate group on Facebook. That's probably what you're talking about. So Yeah, it's not a video. It's just a bunch of flat earthers that basically post claims, and then don't do what page 22 says. Again, I'll read it to you here. Those who assert must prove. So just like our friend Al here, the people in the Flat Earth Debate Facebook group make assertions and never support them. They're like, water flat. And they never actually show the measurements of water being flat. They can't. It's never been measured to be flat. Every time you measure the surface of water, you find that it's curved. So, Kans is not sure who got schooled more, Al or MC Tune's headphones. Yes, those headphones were mangled. So the dog was in here. So when I started this, my family was, they went to KFC, and the KFC they went to was closed. They had to go to a different one. Anyway, the dog was in here, sitting like by my feet here and chewing on something. I didn't know what. Well, I know now what she was chewing on. So yeah, she demolished those headphones. So anyway, and one more time, I just want to make it really clear. That little girl asked a very specific question. Why did we not go back to the moon in such a long time? And he was answering her very specific question. Because we didn't. Because there was political things that were preventing it. And if you look at the politics over the last 50 some years, during Apollo 16, while they were actually on the moon, Congress passed the bill that eventually funded the space shuttle missions. And they were excited. This is what's weird. They were excited to hear this while they were on the moon. Charlie Duke and the other one. They're like, oh, that's good. More approval to do space exploration. Well, along with that then came a defunding of the Apollo missions, right? This was Apollo 16. 17 happened a few months later. They had been working on 18, but it didn't happen. They canceled 18. So, and then what do you do? Say you're in charge of NASA, right? You are there. You are in charge of NASA. Congress says, well, here's the money earmarked for this new reusable vehicle mission. Right. And that stuff that you've been doing before the Apollo missions, we are no longer sending you money for those Apollo missions. What do you do? What do you do at NASA? Do you say, well, screw you. We're not going to take the money earmarked for the shuttle mission and send it to the shuttle mission. We're going to instead send it over to the Apollo stuff. No, you don't do that. You wouldn't be the director of NASA for much longer, right? When money is earmarked for a certain thing, you do that. So we're not doing Apollo 18. So we're going to have to cancel that. We're going to shut down the program and park everything. So the contractors that are like, well, hey, we want to build the rocket for 18 or 19. Like, sorry, those parts, we're not going to need those parts. So don't make them. And so that manufacturer's like, what do we do now? Well, we'll just go on to doing other things. And they take all of the processes that they had created in order to build those things and they park it. And then 50 years later, those companies don't even exist. Because a lot of the people that owned those companies and worked at those companies aren't even alive anymore. What do you do? That's why, you know, you can't just say, hey, let's do it again when it's 20 years later, 30 years later. Because all of the existing material and stuff, it's not ready to go. So you have to, I mean, you could get out the old plans and try to redo it, but that doesn't work too well. You have to start over again. And so all of the funding just kept trying. And it wasn't until much more recently that they finally got the funding actually together. And if you look at Artemis, this is interesting. You look at Artemis and they're using the actual solid rocket boosters from the space shuttle missions on Artemis. So this is, the thing about rockets is there's not a lot of new innovations in rockets. There's only so much rocket engine design that you can do. There's not you're not going to go and make a fundamentally new design for rockets that's 7 times better. There's only so much you can do. So the solid rocket boosters from the space shuttle missions, they're reusing for the Artemis missions. So awesome. Whole different type of intent than what SpaceX is doing. SpaceX's deal is to have repeatability, right? They want to reuse it and go back and reuse the same stuff. And you look at some of these launches, they're like, this is the 20th time that this booster has been used. I don't know the exact numbers. Where NASA still isn't making reusable boosters, right? And of course, they did make the reusable vehicle, the space shuttle, and that was reused. But in the end, it wasn't super reusable. Not like SpaceX is doing. So anyway, let me read a couple more here. So we've got Baux 1 says, thanks for taking on stupid so we don't have to. You're welcome. So I have another thing. Maybe I'll announce it in the next one. So here's what I'll do. I'll wrap this up. I need to go to the bathroom. And I'm going to do the next one. I'll move it forward. I'll move it forward a few minutes, and I'll start a little later than this one. Here, let me do it right now while I'm talking. So I'll probably start it at 11:30 Central Time. So it's about 14 minutes from now. So excuse me. So Janusz, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. He's talking about, so I had asked on my Discord server if anybody wanted to do some data entry. So the reason why I asked that is because I had done some data entry myself, and it just got to be so much I couldn't do it. To enter in the data for the transcontinental triangulation of the American arc of the parallel, some of the data in there. So there's so much data in there. So I had a few volunteers that put in a whole bunch of data. So thank you so much for that. They did it quick. I put in data, like it took me a year to do those triangles. Like on and off, I'd go in and I'd put them in. And I restarted because it wasn't set up quite right. So anyway, the data was put in pretty quickly. So anyway, and Blue Marble Science, thank you, says, may the spherical excess be with you. Thank you for that. Blue Marble Science, if you want to see me and Witsit talk, the video yesterday on spherical excess, you'll find that I came in somewhere near the end, about 45 minutes, maybe an hour from the end. So, all right, here it is. I got the details up. Let me move it ahead. Yes, I will need to I'm going to have to top off my Toon Shine. All right. 30. There it is. It's the live stream invasion. So if you want to go find somebody that's got a small enough audience that when we all show up, they will notice it. And then we'll somebody cool. Last time we did this, it was this Heath guy, super awesome guy. He had a good talk. I suppose some people are still interacting on his Discord server. So yeah, I know you. All right. Anyway, people, thank you very much. Thank you to Al for volunteering to come in and expose the vacuousness that is flat Earth. Zero evidence, all denial, and then cherry picking and lying in the end. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself, Al. Do better. Everybody else, thank you. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Let me get the outro ready here. There it is. It's gotten longer. Thank you to all the gifted memberships. And if I saw some memberships were gifted tonight. Thank you for that. I will endeavor to have it on the next time. Oh, one more thing. On Thursday, I have two things. I have Caleb from TikTok, and I have Garrett Morgan that FTFE has had on once last week. Both of them Thursday. Be ready for that. That's kind of an out of the ordinary schedule, but it was what worked for them. So we'll see you later. I guess not. The video didn't load. Come on, video. Oh, and it does this. It does this thing when. Oh my goodness, it stops sending. Yeah, it freezes. It freezes. It froze for a second. So for some reason, when the video doesn't actually load, the stream hangs for a second. So anyway, I'm going to try it again. Well, hopefully the video loads up. We'll see again. See, it worked this time. Sometimes you just got to do it twice.